मैंने अगर ये ओपन किया तो ये हो जाएगा, सिटी बजेगी।
नहीं आप करें, मैं एक मिनट यूट्यूब पे हो गया है जी सर।
गुड मॉर्निंग बाखरू सर, गुड मॉर्निंग केसवानी सर, रुघवानी सर, गुड मॉर्निंग कसबेकर सर।
हाँ जी रंजन सर, आप शुरू कर सकते हैं सर।
ठीक है सर
जी।
तो आप सभी को नमस्कार। सबसे सुबह का ये जो 3 दिवसीय कार्यक्रम है चाइल्ड सेंट्रिक डिजास्टर रिस्क रिडक्शन, ये NIDM और दादा रामचंद बाखरू सिंध महाविद्यालय नागपुर के कोलैबोरेशन से आयोजित किया जा रहा है। आज के इस कार्यक्रम का मेन उद्देश्य है कि बच्चों को और बच्चे के साथ कैसे काम किया जाए, बच्चे के पार्टिसिपेशन को कैसे बढ़ाया जाए, बच्चे के डेवलपमेंट के लिए कैसे काम किया जाए, बच्चे का प्रोटेक्शन को कैसे सुनिश्चित किया जाए। खास करके देखा जाता है कि इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन में ज़्यादातर जो बच्चे हैं या तो चाइल्ड ट्रैफिकिंग के या चाइल्ड एब्यूज के शिकार हो जाते हैं या चाइल्ड मैरिज के शिकार हो जाते हैं। तो इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए हम लोगों ने जो ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम था, पहले 5 डे का ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम था जिसमें हम लोग फेस टू फेस प्रोग्राम करते थे, लेकिन हमारे जो माननीय एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर श्री मनोज कुमार बिंदल के इनिशिएटिव के कारण इस कोविड-19 के सिचुएशन में इस प्रोग्राम को 3 दिन के लिए ऑनलाइन के द्वारा आयोजित करने का उनका इनिशिएटिव बहुत ही अच्छा इनिशिएटिव रहा, जिसके फलस्वरूप इसमें हम लोगों ने इस प्रोग्राम को करीब 22 स्टेट में ऑलरेडी कंडक्ट करा चुके हैं। तो सबसे पहले आज के इस प्रोग्राम में हम अपने एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर श्री मनोज कुमार बिंदल को इस हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं क्योंकि उनके विजनरी आइडिया और उनके इनिशिएटिव के कारण ही इस तरह का जो कार्यक्रम जो हुआ 3 दिवसीय कार्यक्रम दादा रामचंद बाखरू सिंधु महाविद्यालय के सहयोग से आयोजित किया जा रहा है। इस प्रोग्राम का जो मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव है कि इसमें एक्सप्लेन द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ डिजास्टर ऑन चिल्ड्रन, बच्चे पे क्या इम्पैक्ट है डिजास्टर का, बच्चे का क्या चाइल्ड राइट है, चाइल्ड राइट प्रोटेक्शन क्या है, बच्चे के डिजास्टर इम्पैक्ट के जो डिफरेंट लाइफ साइकिल है बच्चे का, जन्म से लेकर एडल्टहुड तक जो उनका लाइफ साइकिल है उस फेज में बच्चे के क्या क्या रिस्क हैं, क्या क्या वल्नरेबिलिटी है, उसको इस प्रोग्राम में हम लोग इस प्रोग्राम के जो 3 दिवसीय प्रोग्राम है उसमें हमारे एक्सपर्ट्स इसके बारे में बताएंगे कि किस तरह से इसका प्रिवेंटिव मीजर है, इसको कैसे बच्चे के रिस्क को कम करना है। क्योंकि बच्चे जो हैं बच्चे जो ज़्यादातर डिपेंड हैं अपने पेरेंट्स पे, और पेरेंट्स पे डिपेंड होने के कारण उनका जो अगर बच्चे के पेरेंट्स अगर किसी तरह के इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन में हो जाते हैं तो उसका ज़्यादा असर बच्चों पे पड़ता है। तो इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए जब बच्चे की वल्नरेबिलिटी, बच्चे के राइट्स, बच्चे के प्रोटेक्शन क्या क्या हैं उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए ये जो 3 दिवसीय कार्यक्रम जो है इसका प्रोग्राम जो है इसको एक रूप दिया गया है। और इस रूप के द्वारा हम लोगों का इसमें जो कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग का जो काम करते हैं इस 3 दिवसीय कार्यक्रम में, इसमें जो भाग लेने वाले लोग होते हैं ज़्यादातर एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट के लोग होते हैं या गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल या सिविल सोसाइटी के लोग होते हैं। इन सभी लोगों को ये जो प्रोग्राम है एक अच्छा कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग करने के लिए बच्चों के प्रति क्या होना चाहिए, बच्चों के प्रति क्या हमारे बच्चों के प्रोटेक्शन या बच्चे के जो राइट्स के लिए हमें क्या करना है उसके बारे में जानकारी हम देते हैं इस प्रोग्राम में। इस प्रोग्राम में हमारे 3 दिन का सेशन है, जिसमें 2-2 घंटे का सेशन होगा। जिसमें पहले दिन का जो सेशन होगा उसमें हमारे मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फैमिली एंड हेल्थ वेलफेयर और मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स के गाइडलाइन के अनुसार हम इसमें डूज एंड डोंट्स बताते हैं कि कोविड-19 से बचने के लिए जो अभी जो अनप्रेसिडेंट सिचुएशन जो कोविड-19 का जो चल रहा है, उसमें जो प्रतिदिन 97,000 के आसपास जो केसेस आ रहे हैं, जो सेकेंड वेव स्टार्ट हो गया है, खास करके महाराष्ट्र, राजस्थान, एमपी, इस स्टेट में फिर से लॉकडाउन सिचुएशन क्रिएट हो गया है, लॉकडाउन लागू करने का क्रिएट हो गया। इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए मिनिस्ट्री के गाइडलाइन के अनुसार हम लोग जो फर्स्ट सेशन है जो डूज एंड डोंट्स के बारे में बताते हैं। उसके बाद जो सेकंड सेशन जो इस प्रोग्राम का होता है, उसमें डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट का बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट क्या है, उसका टर्मिनोलॉजी क्या है, और इस डिजास्टर टर्मिनोलॉजी को, डिजास्टर के कॉन्सेप्ट को अपने डे टू डे लाइफ में कैसे उपयोग करते हुए अपने रिस्क को कम करने के लिए, अपने वल्नरेबिलिटी को कम करने के लिए काम करेंगे। इसका सेकंड सेशन है। और सेकंड डे का जो सेशन होगा बेसिकली जो हमारा चाइल्ड सेंट्रिक डिजास्टर रिस्क रिडक्शन सेंटर जो हमारा जो बना है, इस जो विजयवाड़ा में काम कर रहा है, जो बच्चों के लिए और बच्चे के साथ काम करता है, इसमें ज्यादातर जो इनिशिएटिव शुरू हुआ है, यूनिसेफ और NIDM के सहयोग से इस सेंटर को इस्टेब्लिश किया गया है। और इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए इसमें ज्यादातर जो मेन फोकस है, बच्चे के जितने भी रिस्क हैं या बच्चे की जो वल्नरेबिलिटी है, बच्चे के प्रोटेक्शन के लिए क्या क्या करना है, बच्चे के डेवलपमेंट या कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग स्ट्रेटजी क्या होना चाहिए डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम के लिए, ये सारे से ये सेंटर जो है इसको मैंडेट को लेकर चल रहा है। और इसके अलावे मैं इस प्रोग्राम में जो ज्यादातर जो और भी मॉड्यूल दिए गए हैं, उसमें हम लोग बताते हैं कि मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज क्या है, कोविड-19 के सिचुएशन में बच्चों पर मेंटल हेल्थ क्या प्रभाव पड़ रहा है, होम टू होम स्कूल सेफ्टी का भी हम लोग देखिए। स्कूल से जब बच्चा शुरू से स्कूल जाता है और स्कूल जब जाता है तो उसकी जो स्कूल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन है उसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बनती है कि बच्चे को कैसे सुरक्षित रखें। तो इस कोविड-19 सिचुएशन में जो कोविड-19 अभी भी बहुत सारे केसेज आ रहे हैं, बहुत सारे, जैसे इसको आंध्रा में स्कूल खुले तो करीब 600 बच्चे जो इस कोविड-19 के शिकार से प्रभावित हो गए। तो इसको ध्यान में रखकर इस प्रोग्राम का जो रिलेवेंसी है वो पूरी तरह डिपेंड करता है कि लोगों के बीच में इस तरह का संवाद जाए कि इस कोविड-19 से कैसे बचा जाए। और इसके अलावे मैं ऑन द बिहाफ ऑफ NIDM के तरफ से दादा रामचंद बाखरू सिंधु महाविद्यालय के प्रेसिडेंट श्री HR बाखरू जी को स्वागत करता हूं। डॉक्टर विंकी रघुवानी चेयरमैन जो इस SHBS के जो BS के जो चेयरमैन है, तथा डॉक्टर IP केसवानी जनरल सेक्रेटरी दादा रामचंद बाखरू सिंधु महाविद्यालय नागपुर महाराष्ट्र के जो इस विश्वविद्यालय के जो पैट्रन हैं, उनको भी मैं हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। इसके साथ ही आज इस DRMSMV के जो प्रिंसिपल हैं डॉक्टर संतोष केसवेकर को भी मैं हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं आज के इस प्रोग्राम में उपस्थित होने के लिए। इसके साथ ही हमारे जो गाइडेंस और जो हमारे जो मेंटर हैं, हमारे जो हमारे प्रोजेक्ट डायरेक्टर डॉक्टर प्रोफेसर संतोष कुमार, जो इस CCDRR सेंटर के जो हेड और जो प्रोजेक्ट डायरेक्टर हैं, तथा डॉक्टर कुमार का जो प्रोग्राम ऑफिसर CCDRR NIDM के हैं, उनको भी मैं हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं कि उनके गाइडेंस में, उनके सुपरविजन में इस प्रोग्राम को कंडक्ट करने के लिए हमें इस तरह का आयोजित करने के लिए हमको मौका मिला। इसके साथ ही मैं अपने कॉलेज डॉक्टर बालू और जो हमारे कोऑर्डिनेटर जो हमारे दादा रामचंद बाखरू सिंधु महाविद्यालय से श्री नवीन अग्रवाल सर को भी मैं हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं कि उनके सहयोग के बिना इस तरह का जो 3 दिवसीय कार्यक्रम हम आयोजित नहीं कर सकते थे, इसलिए उनको पूरी तरह से उनको हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। इसके साथ ही आज का जो इनॉग्रल सेशन है उसको हैंड ओवर करता हूं हमारे कोऑर्डिनेटर हैं श्री नवीन अग्रवाल जी को, कि आगे की कार्रवाई को जारी करने के लिए।
जी, बहुत बहुत रंजन कुमार साहब, आपने बड़े विस्तार से समझाया पूरी रूपरेखा कार्यक्रम किस तरीके का रहेगा, किस उद्देश्य से हम लोग इसे लोगों के सामने ला रहे हैं। कुछ सूचनाएं मैं देना चाहूंगा जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स जूम के थ्रू और कई पार्टिसिपेंट्स हमारे यूट्यूब के थ्रू जुड़े हुए हैं कि जूम और यूट्यूब में कोई फर्क नहीं है, क्योंकि दोनों में हमने पार्टिसिपेंट्स को म्यूट रखा हुआ है। और इसमें जो आप लोगों की जो उपस्थिति है, अटेंडेंस, उसको सुनिश्चित करने के लिए हम लोग हर दिन जो है 2 कोड जो है अटेंडेंस कोड वो डिस्प्ले करेंगे आपके सामने, वो आपको लिख कर रखने हैं। और आखिरी दिन जो है आपको फीडबैक लिंक प्रदान की जाएगी लाइव कार्यक्रम के दौरान यूट्यूब चैट बॉक्स में और जूम के चैट बॉक्स में। तो जो तीनों दिन का कार्यक्रम पूरा अटेंड करेंगे और फीडबैक लिंक भरेंगे, उसमें सही सही कोड यदि वो भरते हैं, ऐसे ही लोगों को ऐसा समझा जाएगा कि उन्होंने ये पूरा कार्यक्रम अटेंड किया है, और उन्हें NIDM और हमारे महाविद्यालय की ओर से सर्टिफिकेट जो है अटेंडेंस का वो प्रदान किया जाएगा। और उसके अलावा एक चीज बताना चाहूंगा, सभी पार्टिसिपेंट जिन्होंने रजिस्ट्रेशन किया, बड़ी संख्या में इसमें, उन सबका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। इसमें भारत भर से सभी राज्यों से तो लोग जुड़े ही हैं, जैसा कि मैंने पहले बताया 1000 के ऊपर हमारे इसमें रजिस्ट्रेशन हुए हैं, और लगभग 30-40 लोग आउट ऑफ इंडिया से भी इसमें जुड़े हुए हैं, अलग अलग कंट्रीज के लोग इसमें जुड़े हुए हैं। तो एक अंतर्राष्ट्रीय जो स्वरूप सभी प्रतिभागियों ने इसे प्रदान किया, उसके लिए मैं बहुत बहुत उनका धन्यवाद व्यक्त करता हूं। और आप सभी का स्वागत, हमारे जो भी गेस्ट है सभी स्पीकर्स का। और मैं हमारे जो मंच संचालन के लिए हमारे दादा रामचंद बाखरू सिंधु महाविद्यालय के असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर जयंत वाड़के जो कार्यक्रम को आगे संचालित करेंगे, उन्हें मैं आमंत्रित करता हूं। डॉक्टर जयंत वाड़के सर, आपका स्वागत है।
Thank you very much. Good morning to you all. Reverend Shri H.R. Bakhru sir, President Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti. Major General Manoj Kumar Bindal, Executive Director NIDM. Dr. Vinky Rughwani sir, Chairman Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti. Dr. I.P. Keswani sir, General Secretary Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti. Professor Santosh Kumar, Professor and Head of CCDRR NIDM. Dr. Santosh Kasbekar sir, Officiating Principal, Dada Ramchand Bakhru Sindhu Mahavidyalaya. Dr. Kumar Raka, Program Officer CCDRR NIDM. Shri Ranjan Kumar, Course Coordinator CCDRR NIDM. Shri Naveen Agarwal, Registrar, Dada Ramchand Bakhru Sindhu Mahavidyalaya, Nagpur. Vice Principals of the college, Dr. S.V. Tewani sir, Dr. A.G. Thadani sir, distinguished faculty of Dada Ramchand Bakhru Sindhu Mahavidyalaya, other staff members, and the magnificent audience who have joined us for 3 days training program, and some people have joined us from across the globe. Dear friends, first of all, the instruction was given to you in Hindi about the program by Kumar Ranjan sir, and we know that children are the most vulnerable lot of the society, whether it is the natural disaster or the artificial or man-made disasters, and to how to reduce the risk of these children, that we are going to see in this 3 days training program. Dear friends, let me first of all tell you, it will be the repetition of the Hindi version, whatever Naveen Agarwal has told us, that every day the attendance code will be displayed, and you have to fill in correctly the code in the feedback form, which will be given to you on the last day. If you fill the code correctly, only then can the certificate be issued to you from NIDM and Dada Ramchand Bakhru Sindhu Mahavidyalaya jointly. Thank you very much. And let me first of all tell you in brief about what NIDM and what Dada Ramchand Bakhru Sindhu Mahavidyalaya as an institution it does for the society. A brief about NIDM. NIDM is a National Institute of Disaster Management, Ministry of Home Affairs and Government of India. It is a premier institute and a statutory body under Disaster Management Act 2005 for training, research, documentation, awareness and human resources, and capacity development in the field of disaster mitigation and management in India and in the region. Now about Dada Ramchand Bakhru Sindhu Mahavidyalaya, it is a premier institution which came into existence in July 1971 by the vision and dedication of Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti in the most remote part of Nagpur city, that is Panchpawli, where most socio-economically backward community inhabits. It had given a commendable uplift to the society around and still functions as a source of hope to those people who are deprived. Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti's selfless work for the minorities and weaker sections were imparting commendable social service in the field of education. This live to serve is the main theme of the institution. It had contributed in all the areas of the need of the society since its inception in 1971 by imparting knowledge and including human values. About 25 schools and colleges are run under this Samiti, and about 22,000 students are given education through these institutions, and 1,100 teachers are working to impart the knowledge to the students. Now, after the brief introduction of both the institution who have jointly arranged this training program for you, let me introduce to you today's speaker for the inaugural address, Shri H.R. Bakhru sir, who is the president of Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti. He is MSc Geology, and he is the first mining geologist among Sindhi community in Nagpur. He is the president of Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti. He was the ex-senior mining geologist, Indian Bureau of Mines, Nagpur. He was awarded with many awards like Global Achievers Award of Dubai at the hands of Sheikh Dubai, and Asian Pacific Award for Education at Kathmandu, Nepal at the hands of the then Prime Minister Sushil Koirala, Mahatma Gandhi Gaurav Samman Award at the hands of Mrs. Shaila Dikshit, the then Chief Minister of Delhi. I welcome you, sir, and I request you to please address the gathering and by giving the inaugural address. Please, H.R. Bakhru, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Walde. Am I audible? Hello? Am I on?
Audible.
Okay.
Please continue.
Dear friends, a very cool good morning to all of you from Nagpur. This online training program on child-centric disaster risk reduction is very pertinent in today's scenario all over the world. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected educational system worldwide as well in India very much. Schools have been adjourned for a very long period. Therefore, the school dropouts are very much. Also due to economic bad situation and job loss of parents, the children are very much affected. Poor students had very long interrupted learning and malnutrition. I have observed the effect of this pandemic on the children with my own eyes. we have special institutes are run by Sindhi Vidya Samiti. Though we tried very much through our dedicated staff, teaching and non-teaching both, by imparting online education and distributing them rice which we received from government for midday meal to their homes directly. Employees of our institutes have done very good work during these days to impart online videos and other material to the students. But as you all know, online education is not alternative to classroom education. Small children of KG to 7th class standard missed very much their schools, their teachers, their friends. They do not understand well through online teaching. Mothers of these children are more stressed as they have to give more and more time towards these four frustrated
We are not getting audio.
big disaster in this way to be remembered for long time. The participants, I am sure, will definitely gain very good knowledge and information on this topic in these 3 days of program, which will be subsequently very beneficial to the children affected from this pandemic. With this expectation, I give full stop here.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your address, and thank you for giving us the information about what the institution has done in this pandemic period for children and for the society. Thanks once again, sir. Now, for the opening remark, we have with us Professor Santosh Kumar, Professor and Head, CCDRR, NIDM. He's a professor and an expert with 25 years of experience in different positions in the development, planning, and DRR sector. A PhD in economics. He studied gender and development in IDS, Sussex, UK, and received professional training in disaster risk management from Israel. Backed with international work exposure at the World Bank and intergovernmental body of SARC. He has also worked at state levels in different capacities in UP Academy of Administration, Nainital, and RIPA, Jaipur. He is an experienced hand in designing, planning, and implementing mitigation and long-term disaster recovery plan and projects. He brings with him rare combination of operations and academia. His experience of working at the grassroots level to national to international level in all aspects spanning DRR is an added value. He specializes in disaster management planning, post-disaster loss and need assessment, recovery and inclusive disaster risk reduction. His insight of bringing development into disaster risk reduction has also allowed new thinking in the framework. At the international level, he has been contributing in shifting international and national policies by engaging himself in dialogues, negotiations, and participating in international strategic conferences. His engagement in disaster risk reduction process is uh, since 1995. And with that, I request Professor Santosh Kumar to have his address for the audience, the opening remark. Santosh Kumar, sir, please.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Mr. Jayant Vakleji, for giving an elaborate introduction of mine. The President, Shri H.R. Bhakreji, Dr. Ishwarji, Dr. Santosh, Kasbekarji, and all the distinguished representative, including Mr. Naveen Agarwalji from the university, which has been able to actually give a very, very good contribution to the society, as you mentioned, while introducing H.R. Bhakreji, that more than 22,000 students have actually studied there and passed out from that institution. And that too, opening in the remote area where the education was not their higher education, which you could extend in the city of Nagpur. City of Nagpur, which we have a special kind of attachment, because we are most of the disaster management institutions which is working on the daily basis firefighting system, civil defense and all have been located in Nagpur. Plus other characteristics of Nagpur which have been able to contribute in India, we are always welcoming to that on behalf of National Institute of Disaster Management. And every year when we wait for the oranges from the Nagpur as well, with the sweet of Nagpur. The distinguished luminaries from the institution, I welcome on behalf of the National Institute of Disaster Management. And I also welcome my own team, Mr. Ranjan, Mr. Balu, and also Dr. Aka, who are all here. This is very, very interesting collaboration between the two institutions, especially when it comes to the issues related to the future generation. And future generation, when we were growing during that time, we were not told that how to behave and how to actually react to the situation when you are under earthquake situation or the flood situation or the fire situation or kind of a pandemic which we are facing currently. So over the years, every time we try to get information from wherever it is available, that how to protect the future generation, protecting ourselves and also to the future generation. And we are saying that we are fortunate that we are into the generation of technology, where we have seen that how older system was there when we were grappling with the information. Any times when we were doing PhD or other thing or any related thing, we need to sit in the library for long, go to one library to other library, to this library, to that library, pillar to the post, and then we used to get information. Now we have palm-based information. You have an Android phone and you have the Google with you, and then you get this kind of a support and whatever you wish to. And I'm very happy that you announced that it is also on live YouTube. This is how we reach with the help of technology. So that for addressing the issues of children, the future generation, it's very important also to inclusive technology. That would be very, very best approach which we have taken in this particular program. So I express my gratitude to the institution which took this initiative with CCDRR. I have a couple of points to mention, as Mr. Ranjan has already explained that why we are doing this 3-day training program with this. The insight that why we started child-centric DRR, and you will appreciate, I was that time director of the SARC Disaster Management Center, which intergovernmental body of 8 nations of the South Asia. And that time this Nepal earthquake took place. And after this Nepal earthquake, we did visit to Nepal and Kathmandu, and then we had a kind of a conference there. We and with the UNICEF also, our partner, they were there. And we found that the girl child and other children who got affected during the flood time, they were expressing their plight during the disaster. And when they explained, we had no choice but to fall into the tears. And that kind of experience we said that we need to address this issue, although many institutions are already addressing, like UNICEF and Save the Children and the CRY and other institutions are there. But being at the National Institute of Disaster Management, which is the apex body of disaster management of Government of India for capacity development, we thought that we should also focus separately on the issues, which is large number of children. Every day every minute when we are talking, 30 minutes already over, many new generation have joined us. The new birth has taken place. So every minute, our new clienteles are coming into the life, and our responsibility is increasing every minute or every day. And when we classify children into 3 categories, that one category which is this very, very nascent stage, that the 0 period or 1 hour to say, you can say that 5 years of age, then 5 to 10 and 10 to 17 to or 18 years of adolescence. All the 3 categories have differential need, and they get affected by disaster differently. As I was just recalling what H.R. Bakhru was mentioning in his inaugural address, he said that one very pertinent point, that children are out of school. One point which he mentioned. The second point is why they're out of school. One is the COVID, but another is the parents, they have lost their job. The cascading impact of COVID-19, which we see. And the third thing which he's saying, that whatever the alternative arrangements we have been able to actually craft so far, that is that online teaching, and that is not good enough for the education or imparting education to the children. Even if you take these 3 points, there's a lot of challenges. Those who are going to their school, and children, he said that children have a different kind of a behavior pattern. So, and they have to bloom, they have to dance, they have to cry, they have to laugh, they have to run around. Where are those facilities, especially when it comes to the cities? Our cities are also shrinking. The place for the children have shrunk already. The municipal corporations have not been able to actually notice the need of the children, that what kind of a park which we need. All the parks are encroached. Most of the parks are getting encroached, or the very smaller place are given to that. So where our children will go, even if the normal time, that is a challenge. Now coming to the COVID-19 time is a very, very, very challenging and difficult time for everyone. As Bakhru Sahab has also mentioned, that it's the global issues. And first time in the history of mankind after 100 years, I can say, which happened in 1908, with such kind of a disaster or pandemic took place, where almost all the population of the world, this 9 billion around, are affected directly or indirectly with COVID-19. So why I'm making this point? Because the adult, they're also into a stress, and their stress is subsequently falling on the children. So how they are coping, children are already into stress, parents are coming into a stress, and the two stress are merging together. And in the family, Everybody doesn't have the bungalow. Everybody doesn't have the place to come out and express their stress. So they find some place. So maybe we can say that 10 days, 20 days was good enough, that everybody had fun. They enjoyed being there in the household and tried to be with the family. So these were the silver line of COVID-19, where family got together. We didn't have time. We are saying that environment got clean and everything. But after that, then the situation became, it is longer, then the implications become. Many children, we are seeing that what kind of a societal rate is happening, what kind of a stress they are having. Parents who are not able to afford the Android phones, if they have 4 children, and suppose they have 4 children and 2 working parents, so they need 6 Android phones or 6 laptops to continue their study. So these are the children, those who are actually they can afford this. But those who are not able to access school, those who are not able to breathe in the kind of a fresh air as we have. So that kind of a challenges are also there. We cannot separate out the children who are going and accessing school. That is the only issue. But also those children who are living in squatters, living in difficult conditions, living in poverty, living in as a kind of a rag pickers. So how we are going to make them sure as a citizen, responsible citizen, to see them that their life or the future generations are safe, because they are the future of the country. So how this we can make India stronger by taking care of them. We say that India's human resources could be developed as a world class. So if the children or 30 crores of population, we can say, get affected and we into the stress, probably we will not be able to serve the country well. So it is our responsibility. So this program we are trying as a kind of a humble beginning, that try to discuss, at least start on the discussion, bring on the table that issue, that children have their specific need, their specific challenges, and they should also be given voice, that what they want during the time of disaster. They should not be always considered as vulnerable. They are vulnerable, but also they should be given voice. They should be allowed to express themselves. And where are those opportunities available? How parents are taking them? How teachers are actually mentoring them to actually speak up, and also that the provisions of where the risks are reduced. So how children can go into the mainstream of their own risk reduction. 20 years from now, they will become adult and responsible citizen of the country. Somebody would be leading the country, some would be playing cricket, or somebody would go in sports, somebody will go in different professions. But idea is to that if they are facing against a similar kind of a situation of global pandemic, how they are becoming resilient so that they can save their children as well. So this is the continuum. And in this continuum, we wish to have a kind of a joint collaborative work where we can extend our voice and try to extend our ears to the children, that how they are expressing. And collectively, definitely, I'm sure that they can make it. So मेरी जो बात अंत में अपनी बात यही कहना चाहूँगा कि जिस तरह के हमारे कोलैबोरेशंस हुए हैं 2 इंस्टीट्यूशंस में, इसको हम किस तरह से आगे और बढ़ा सकते हैं, कैसे स्ट्रेंथन कर सकते हैं। बच्चे जो हमारे भविष्य हैं, जिसको लेकर हम लोगों ने चाइल्ड सेंट्रिक डिजास्टर रिस्क मैनेजमेंट की स्थापना की, इनको कैसे और सहयोग करके हम एक और बड़े स्तर पे ले जा सकते हैं। अभी हमारा ये जो गठन हुआ है 2 साल पुराना है, चाइल्ड सेंट्रिक DRR, लेकिन हमारी मंशा है कि जो देश की जो नीड है, उस देश की नीड के हिसाब से इसको और व्यापक बना जाए, हर राज्य में पहुंचा जाए, और राज्यों से आप लोगों के सहारे जिले में पहुंचा जाए, गाँव में पहुंचा जाए। क्योंकि बार बार हमारा ये कि जो बच्चे जितने भी डिजास्टर्स होते हैं, उनके डेटा को अगर आप देखेंगे तो बच्चों की संख्या जो डेथ्स की है बहुत ज़्यादा है। तो इस तरह, और एक घर में अगर किसी बच्चे की डेथ होती है या बड़े की किसी की भी डेथ होती है, तो डेथ केवल स्टैटिस्टिक्स नहीं है। डेथ जो स्टैटिस्टिक्स है उसका कोई इमोशंस नहीं है। इमोशंस में वो जस्ट एक नंबर की तरह काउंट होता है और फिर हम भूल जाते हैं। सो आइडिया ये है कि हर डेथ को या हर अफेक्टेड पर्सन को के इम्पैक्ट को कम किया जाए। एक घर में एक डेथ होता है तो उनके लिए वो डिजास्टर का सिचुएशन होता है। तो हम ऐसी परिस्थिति से कैसे जल्दी से जल्दी निपटें और बच्चों में किस तरह से रिजिलियंट की क्वालिटी डालें, और उसमें जो हमारे बड़ों की भूमिका है उसको भी स्ट्रेंथन करें। और स्कूल के संदर्भ में ये 3 दिन तक चर्चा होगी कि किस तरह से स्कूल को तैयार होना है, किस तरह से हमें अप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर कोविड-19 की रखनी है, ताकि आने वाले कल में बच्चों की संख्या प्रभावित पॉजिटिव लोगों में ना बढ़े। पॉजिटिव टू कोविड, पॉजिटिव पर्सन हो सकते हैं, नॉट कोविड पॉजिटिव। तो ये इस संदर्भ में जो हम लोगों का सहयोग है एक दूसरे का, मुझे लगता है कि राष्ट्रीय आपदा प्रबंधन संस्थान और आपके जो संस्थान है, दोनों के साथ मिलके हम कई और इस तरह के भविष्य में कार्यक्रम की योजना बनाएं, और मुझे उम्मीद है कि एक सार्थक तरीके से हम इसे अंजाम दे सकते हैं। तो एक बार पुनः मैं आपका हृदय से आभार प्रकट करता हूं और धन्यवाद भी देता हूं कि इस तरह आपने जो मुझे मौका दिया, हम लोग दोनों ने साझा रूप से इस कार्यक्रम का आयोजन किया, और उम्मीद है कि भविष्य में इसको एक हम लॉन्ग टर्म तक ले जाएंगे। थैंक यू वेरी मच। थैंक यू, एंड ओवर टू डॉक्टर साहब आपको।
Thank you very much, sir. You have brought out the problem. COVID pandemic situation did not affect only the elderly population or the adult population. It has affected the children also. You have brought out the point very nicely, sir. Thank you very much for your opening remarks. Now I move on to the next point here in the program, that is the keynote address. However, due to his busy schedule and urgent work, Major General Manoj Kumar Bindal sahab, an alumnus of National Defense Academy and who is presently the Executive Director of NIDM, could not join us. However, he has sent his well wishes to us for this training program. He is the man behind this training program. Thank you very much, sir. Moving on to next speaker, who is Dr. Vinky Rughwani, sir, Chairman Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti. Briefly, I would introduce him to you. He is an eminent person from the field of medicine. Dr. Vinky Rughwani, sir, is a child specialist and has a child care center and hospital in Nagpur. And he is the Vice President of Maharashtra Medical Council, Mumbai, Government of Maharashtra. He is a member of Maharashtra State Pharmacy Council, Mumbai, Government of Maharashtra, Governing Board member of Maharashtra State Blood Transfusion Council, Mumbai, Chairman Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti. He is the President of Thalassemia Society of Central India. He is the Director of Thalassemia and Sickle Cell Center, Nagpur. He is the Executive Body Member of Indian Medical Association, Nagpur. He is Executive Body Member of Association of Medical Faculties, Nagpur. He is the President of Vidarbha Sindhi Vikas Parishad and the Director of Sadhana Sahkari Bank, a very eminent person in the field of medicine and who does a great social work for the sickle cell patients. I welcome you, sir, in this program, and I would request you, Dr. Vinky Rughwani, sir, to please address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
I also welcome you, Dr. Vinky Rughwani, sir, from NIDM. Thank you.
Hello. 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 Due to some technical problem, he is not able to join us.
Dr. Ishwar is there, so if he has to speak, in the meantime, you can request him.
Hello.
Dr. Vinky Rughwani, sir, are you able to listen to me?
Am I audible?
Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. I welcome
Audible.
Thank you.
I welcome you from NIDM also, Santosh Kumar. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Professor Santosh Kumar, the President of Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti, Honorable H.R. Bakhru ji, Dr. I.P. Keswani ji, Ranjan Kumar ji, Dr. Rakaji, Dr. Kasbekar, Naveen Agrawal, and all the organizers. First of all, being a medical practitioner and especially a child specialist, I would like to start with one experience which I had in this COVID-19. See, there was, when the COVID was in a very high, this thing in Nagpur, there was one 6-year-old child who had a COVID infection, and all other members in his family were normal. So we have to keep him isolated. He was in isolation room. Only his mother used to go just for the food, and she used to meet him for some time. But that was a big issue, and he recovered from COVID. But say after 20 days of COVID, he was brought to me by his parents, and they said कि ये रात को बीच-बीच में उठ जाता है और उठकर एकदम से अचानक से चिल्लाने लग जाता है और ऐसा बोलने लग जाता है कि मेरे को कोई लेके जा रहा है, मुझे कुछ भूत दिखाई दे रहे हैं. So the COVID is not only COVID, but there are many other things which we see post-COVID, So COVID has got a very big effect. I can say that it's not even over now. Even if the second wave of COVID-19 doesn't come, the COVID is going to last not in the sense of COVID itself, but as a sense of post-COVID. So we can see that the small children, we can say the children between below 5 years of age, always habit of going out and playing out. In this COVID time, they could not go out. Now they used to ask their parents always that हमको बाहर जाना है, खेलने जाना है, और parents, they used to tell them नहीं, तुमको घर में ही रहना है. Now this, we have seen that many of these children, they develop the tendency of rebellion, and that particular act is now still continuing, and we don't know how many months it will be there. Also, as has been mentioned by the prior speakers also, that there, because of the losses of job to especially the poor laborers, the problem all children in the future. I mean to say that effect, the effect that we have seen now is a very small part. There is a much which is going to happen in the future. Even in we have been seeing very many children who are suffering from some sort of mental illnesses now, and we are going to see in future also. About the adolescents also, we know that today's the young boy or a girl, they always want a privacy, which they could not get in the COVID time. So this has also had some impact on their mind, is going to have some problems in the future. So there are many things which are happening in this particular COVID. Even we have seen that in the full-fledged COVID time, the non-COVID illnesses, like small children suffering from some typhoid or other illnesses than COVID, their parents could not brought them to the doctors. And because of that, they got worsened. Their non-COVID illnesses got worsened. So there are so many things which has happened in this particular pandemic or a disaster. So, of course, yes, children are the vulnerable group, and we definitely do see such type of issues. I'm very small person to suggest, but I will just mention that the NIDM should include some sort of psychologists or mental healers in their management protocols, because this particular type of disaster, COVID-19 has taught us many things. So definitely such type of things we should get prepared for future. In future, suppose we get such type of things, we have to be very ready for it. Today, this Dada Ramchand Bakhru Sindhu Mahavidyalaya, along with NIDM, has organized this. Rather, I would say that NIDM has given a chance to our institute for such a wonderful seminar or a conference, of course online, and we are thankful to them. And also, I congratulate the organizers and for giving this opportunity to me also. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. A wonderful suggestion has been given by Dr. Vinky, sir, to include the psychologist in the management of the NIDM. Thank you very much, sir, for your address. Now, the next speaker in our program is Dr. I.P. Keswani, sir, General Secretary, Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti. Let me briefly introduce the eminent person, Dr. Ishwar Keswani, sir, who is the General Secretary of Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti, directly responsible for administration of institutions working under Samiti. By profession, he is a mechanical engineer, passed out from the prestigious VNIT Vishwesvaraya Regional College of Engineering, Nagpur. He has various illustrious academic record during his student days. He scored second position in the order of merit in Maharashtra State Board HSC exam. He did his PhD in service quality and has more than 50 research papers to his credit in various international and national journals. He recently superannuated as professor and head of industrial engineering at Ramdev Baba College of Engineering and Management, Nagpur, one of the most sought after engineering college of this region. Now working as adjunct professor in the same college, he is actively associated with Indian Institute of Engineers, ISTE, and Institution of Industrial Engineering. Beacon light for the young generation, Dr. I.P. Keswani, sir. I request you, sir, to please address the gathering.
Thank you, Dr. Walke. I hope I am audible to all of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We are very fortunate today that, as said by our Honorable Chairman, Dr. Rughwani, that NIDM has given us a chance to launch this 3-day seminar on the international level. And NIDM is working very hard to prevent the effects which are going to be there of any kind of disaster. Even NIDM has already must have prepared for the COVID-19 also, which we are going to learn, because the effects of disaster would have been much more had NIDM was not in existence. So the participants here will come to know the initiatives which have been taken by NIDM towards prevention of the effects of the disaster, because disasters are going to be there. And from the beginning of this journey of Homo sapiens, 3 things have always affected us. One is famine, other is World War, and third is, of course, this Mahamari. So we have been fighting for these 3 things which have been there as our enemies. So we have, to some extent, see, अकाल के लिए तो हम लोग की काफी तैयारी हो चुकी है, और महामारी तो it is always there around the corner. See, every 50 years, 100 years. 1918 was a big pandemic, but even 1958, 59 also there was there. So this, with the blessings of the Major General Manoj Kumar, Bindal ji, Shri H.R. Bakhru ji, our President, Shri Dr. Vinky Rughwani ji, and Honorable Professor Santosh Kumar, Dr. Kumar Naka, Shri Ranjan Kumar, and of course the initiative taken by our own Dr. Inaugural and Principal Keswani towards generating awareness amongst the students our students as well as the students in the society as to what can be done in future to prevent the effects of the disasters which are going to be there, like earthquake and other things. Because you cannot escape from there. You don't know the reason why they occur, but they occur. And from my side, I must say that its prevention is always better than cure. And the NIDM has done a lot of research also to how to prevent this. For our institution, although we were financially affected, but we have not stopped the salary of the teachers. Although in some schools we don't get grant also, but God is very kind to us, so we have been able to give the full salaries to the teachers so far. I don't know when the students will come back and when we'll be getting the full fees from the students. That's a different question, but hopefully we will survive another 6 months. That will not be an issue. But if this pandemic continues, then we also have some problems. And as we are discussing this, that students are the most vulnerable and they are most affected because they may lose their parents in any kind of disaster which is going to happen. So what kind of housing should be there as an alternate arrangement for them? What kind of feeding? What kind of their development arrangements should be there if such kind of calamity is there on their family? See, we have this daily number of deaths, which is statistics for us, but one death is a tragedy. Hundreds of deaths statistics. So we know how it affects the entire family when the death occurs. So I hope the participants will come to know the initiatives which have been taken by NIDM towards prevention of the pandemic, which is again going to be there in future also. This is not the only one pandemic which has occurred. The pandemics have come before also, and they're going to be there in future also. And other disasters may also take place. So once again, I thank the organizers for bringing out this 3 days discussion to make people aware as to counter these effects of pandemics in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your guidance on this occasion. And definitely the society would be a bit more aware about how the children are facing this pandemic situation, and also whenever the disaster occur in their personal life or in the society. Thanks a lot, sir. I thank all the speakers, Shri H.R. Bakhru, sir, President Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti, then Major General Manoj Kumar Bindal, sir, Executive Director NIDM, Professor Santosh Kumar, Professor Head CCDRR NIDM, Dr. Vinky Rughwani, sir, Dr. I.P. Keswani, sir, Dr. Santosh Kasbekar, sir, Vice Principals, Officiating Principal, then Vice Principals of Dada Ramchand Bakhru Sindhu Mahavidyalaya, Dr. S.V. Devani, sir, and Dr. A.G. Thadani, sir, and the organizers. Now, before we begin the session of this day, which begins with do's and don'ts of COVID-19, which will be conducted by Dr. Balu I, CCDRR NIDM. I will display the attendance code for the day. One attendance code now, and for all the participants who are listening to this, who have joined this training program. So attendance code for you.
Sir, Shri Ranjan
Kindly note it down. 68 is the attendance code.
Okay. Sir, this session will be taken by Ranjan Kumar, sir. Shri Ranjan Kumar.
Thank you. And after this inaugural program, let us begin with the first session by Dr. Balu I, who is working in CCDRR Center at National Institute of Disaster Management, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. Previously, he served as an assistant professor at Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development. He has 2 years research experience from National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayat Raj, NIRD and PR. Overall, he has 10 years of development experience. He has
रंजन सर आप कुछ बोल रहे थे? ओके ओके
बालू सर बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट लेंगे।
रंजन सर बोल रहे हैं डूज एंड डोंट्स उनका परिचय है ना किनका रंजन सर का पहले डूज एंड डोंट्स तो
रंजन कुमार
रंजन सर
आप अगर परमिशन दे सर तो मैं अपना प्रेजेंटेशन शेयर करता हूं डूज एंड डोंट्स। सर मेरा प्रेजेंटेशन विजिबल है? नवीन सर
just let me introduce to you Ranjan sir, who is going to tell us about do's and don'ts of COVID-19. He is the program associate in National Institute of Disaster Management, Vijayawada. He has done MSW, MSc, LLB, and postgraduate diploma in preparedness and reconstruction and rehabilitation. He has 12 years experience in development sector in core area as risk reduction, integration of DRR and climate change adaptation, recovery and reconstruction, and hand-on experience in project management, policy planning and strategy in emergency response, training and capacity building, research and data analysis. He has vast experience in working with SARC, Disaster Management Center, NIDM, UNDP, UNICEF, and other national organizations on various issues. During his tenure at SARC Disaster Management Center, New Delhi, he was entrusted with the task of project management, disaster risk reduction, and climate change adaptation and post-disaster recovery and reconstruction. His major achievements are there with key projects of SDMC New Delhi, such as South Asia Knowledge Network and Digital Vulnerability Atlas, integration of DRR and CAA, rapid risk assessment for resilient recovery for South Asia. He is an experienced hand in designing, planning, and implementation of plan and project at regional, national, and local level. He brings with him the rare combination of exposure, variation from grassroots to national level. He has presented papers on various subjects in seminars and workshops. Such an eminent and experienced person is with us, who is going to tell us about do's and don'ts of COVID-19. Over to you, sir. Over to you, Ranjan, sir.
Thank you for a brief introduction, sir. And once again, NIDM के बिहाफ पर मैं सभी प्रतिभागी जो उपस्थित हैं आज के इस सेशन के लिए, फर्स्ट डे के सेशन के लिए, तो जैसा कि प्रीवियस इनॉग्रल सेशन में हमारे जितने भी पायनियर और जितने भी पैट्रन लोग थे, उन्होंने डिस्कस किया कि किस तरह जो बच्चे को है इस कोविड-19 का असर बच्चे पर पड़ रहा है, और इन्होंने जिसमें डॉक्टर्स जो सब से उन्होंने डिस्कस किया कि बच्चे पे कैसे मेंटल हेल्थ पे लॉन्ग टर्म इम्पैक्ट कैसे पड़ा है इस डिजास्टर का। इस जो बायोलॉजिकल डिजास्टर जो है, जो कि हमारे डायरेक्टर साहब ने भी डिस्कस किया कि 100 ईयर के बाद इस तरह का सिचुएशन क्रिएट हुआ है, जिसमें हम लोग को भी पता नहीं है कि इस महामारी का क्या प्रिवेंटिव मेजर होना चाहिए। तो बेसिकली डिजास्टर कोई भी अगर होता है, इफ एनी डिजास्टर हैपेंड, उसमें ज्यादातर लोग क्या होते हैं कि मतलब उसका जो इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है बच्चे पे पड़ता है। तो इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए खास करके इस महामारी का जो अभी जो कोविड-19 का जो अभी दौर चल रहा है, पिछले 8 महीनों से जो चल रहा है, जो सिचुएशन क्रिएट हो रहा है, अभी सेकंड वेव भी हम लोग के पास शुरू हो गया है बहुत सारे कंट्री में। चाहे तो आप देख लें यूरोपियन कंट्री में बहुत सारे फिर से लॉकडाउन शुरू हो गए हैं। तो इसको ध्यान में रखकर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ एंड फैमिली वेलफेयर और मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स ने एक गाइडलाइन जारी किया, एक ऑर्डर इशू किया, जिसमें उन्होंने बोला कि किसी भी अगर प्लेटफॉर्म पर अगर आप किसी तरह का आयोजन कर रहे हैं, कि कोई प्रोग्राम आयोजन कर रहे हैं, उसमें इस कोविड-19 के प्रिवेंटिव मेजर्स क्या होना चाहिए, क्या क्या डूज और डोंट्स होना चाहिए, वो लोगों को बताएं, जिससे कि इस कोविड-19 का जो इम्पैक्ट है उसको कम करने में मदद मिले। इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए, चूंकि किसी भी डिजास्टर के लिए प्रिवेंशन और अगर मिटिगेशन अगर आपके पास है, जो कि नेक्स्ट क्लास जो नेक्स्ट सेशन होगा उसमें आपको बताइए किस तरह से डिजास्टर को कम करने के लिए क्या क्या प्रिवेंशन और मिटिगेशन मेजर होने चाहिए। उसको बहुत सारे एग्जाम्पल हैं हमारे कंट्री में। अभी साइक्लोन फिलिन के बारे में देख लें, या साइक्लोन उड़ीसा साइक्लोन जो 99 में हुआ था, उसमें 10,000 पीपल मारे गए थे, लेकिन जो साइक्लोन फिलिन आया उसमें मात्र 32 और 40 पीपल मारे गए। तो ये कहीं ना कहीं जो प्रिवेंटिव मेजर है और प्रिवेंशन जो रिस्क को कम करने के लिए, वल्नरेबिलिटी को कम करने के लिए, उसको आपको ध्यान में रखना होगा। और इस कोविड-19 सिचुएशन अभी चल रहा है, जिसमें कि प्रतिदिन 90,000 केसेज जो हमारे कंट्री में आ रहे हैं, एक्टिव केसेज जो आ रहे हैं और उसमें ज्यादातर जो, हालांकि हमारा रिकवरी रेट जो भी है वो 93% के आसपास है, जो कि WHO के रिपोर्ट के अनुसार है, या हमारे हेल्थ मिनिस्ट्री के गाइडलाइन के अनुसार जो हमारा रिकवरी रेट है। लेकिन फिर भी इसको ध्यान में रखकर कि क्या डूज एंड डोंट्स होना चाहिए, कैसे बचना है इस कोविड-19 के सिचुएशन से, और अपने आप को बचाना है और लोगों को बचाना है। तो इसका एक ही नारा है, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री ने भी जन आंदोलन के रूप में इसको एक जाना शुरू किया है। अक्टूबर में उन्होंने अनाउंस किया था कि इस कोविड-19 के जो प्रिवेंटिव मेजर है उसको एक जन आंदोलन के रूप में लोगों के बीच में लाया जाए, जिससे कि इस कोविड-19 के चैनल को, इस कोविड-19 के प्रभाव को कम किया जा सके। तो मेरा जो आज का सेशन जो है, आज पर गाइडलाइन ऑफ मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ एंड फैमिली वेलफेयर एंड मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स, क्या डूज एंड डोंट्स होना चाहिए, व्हाट डूज एंड डोंट्स फॉर कोविड-19, उसके बारे में मैं डिस्कस करूंगा। और इसके पहले थोड़ा सा हम इस कोविड-19 का जो शुरुआत कैसे हुआ, कहाँ से शुरू हुआ और कब शुरू हुआ, और इसका प्रभाव पूरे ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड में कितना जल्द पूरे वर्ल्ड में फैल गया, इसके बारे में डिस्कस करते। तो सबसे पहला जो केस जो जो डिटेक्ट हुआ था इस कोविड-19 का, वो 1 दिसंबर 2019 को वुहान प्रोविंस चाइना में हुआ था। उसके बाद से जो एक केस इसके बाद आया, इसके बाद पूरे ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड में इसका जो प्रभाव है वो पड़ा है, और इसका जो लॉन्ग टर्म इम्पैक्ट पड़ा है बच्चों सभी लोगों पे पड़ा है, बच्चों पर भी पड़ा है, ओल्ड एज के लोगों पर भी पड़ा है, कोमॉर्बिडिटी से जो शिकार हैं उन लोगों पर भी पड़ा है, और जो ये जो सिचुएशन है सोशियो इकोनॉमिक इम्पैक्ट पर भी पड़ा है, आपके एजुकेशन सिस्टम पे पड़ा है। इस तरह से जो कोविड-19 का जो इम्पैक्ट जो पड़ा है, ग्लोबल इम्पैक्ट पड़ा है इसका, और इसका लॉन्ग टर्म इम्पैक्ट है। अगर एक बार इसके प्रभाव से कोई प्रभावित हो जाता है तो इसका जो फिजिकल हेल्थ है वो भी उसका लॉन्ग टर्म इम्पैक्ट है। तो इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए आपको ये सुनिश्चित करना है कि इसको जो मिनिस्ट्री के गाइडलाइन है, मिनिस्ट्री के जो सुझाव दिए गए हैं, उसको आप फॉलो करें और इस कोविड-19 से अपने आप को सुरक्षित रखें और लोगों को भी सुरक्षित रखें। तो इसको जो पहला केस जो हम लोग ने हमारे यहाँ जो इंडिया में जो आया था 30 जनवरी जो 2020 को डिटेक्ट हुआ था, वो भी केरला में हुआ था। और उसके बाद से ये पूरे कंट्री में है जो पूरी तरह से फैल गया। और इसके बाद बहुत हम लोग ने 5-6 लॉकडाउन भी लगे, और इसके अलावा अनलॉक 5 अनलॉक 6 तक बहुत सारे गाइडलाइन इशू किए गए मिनिस्ट्री की तरफ से। और किस तरह से ये जो हमारे जनजीवन को, हमारे जो डे टू डे रूटीन को, हमारे लाइफ को किस तरह से इफेक्ट किया है, आप लोग अच्छी तरह से अवगत है इस कोविड-19 के इम्पैक्ट से। और इसको ध्यान में रख के ये जरूरी है कि मिनिस्ट्री के द्वारा या WHO या के द्वारा जो गाइडलाइन जो दिए गए हैं, जो सुझाव दिए गए हैं, उसको अवश्य फॉलो करें। और इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए हम आगे की क्या क्या डूज एंड डोंट्स होने चाहिए, क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है इस कोविड-19 सिचुएशन में, उसके बारे में बताने जा रहे हैं। तो इसका पहले इसके सिम्टम के बारे में जानते हैं कि कोविड-19 का जो सिम्टम है उसका क्या सिम्टम है। और अगर इस तरह का सिम्टम आप अपने में अनुभव करते हैं या अपने अंदर फील करते हैं, तो इसका जो सिम्टम, जो पहला सिम्टम है, या तो आपको कफ हो रहा है, या आपके गले में खराश है, या आप फीवर का फीलिंग कर रहे हैं, आपके बॉडी में पेन है, आप बहुत ठंड महसूस कर रहे हैं, या आपको श्वास लेने में दिक्कतें आ रही है, या आपको जो टेस्ट जो खा रहे हैं उसमें टेस्ट नहीं लग रहा है, या स्मेलिंग ठीक से नहीं हो रहा है, तो ये सारे जो सिम्टम अगर आप फील कर रहे हैं, आप अनुभव कर रहे हैं इस सारे सिम्टम को, तो आपको इमीडिएट है जो डॉक्टर से कंसल्ट करना होगा। अभी तो जो सिचुएशन है, ये सिम्टोमेटिक सिचुएशन भी जो आ गया है, उसके हिसाब से तो पता ही नहीं चल पा रहा है कि कोविड-19 हमें हुआ है कि नहीं हुआ है। तो आपको बहुत ही कॉशियस रहना है इसके बारे में कि जो अभी जो सिचुएशन चल रहा है, जो कि अभी तक जो रिसर्च इस पे चल रहे हैं, इसका जो अभी डाटा जो अभी चल रहा है, इसके जो वैक्सीन है अभी तक आने में हो सकता है मार्च तक, तो अभी तक आने के चांसेस ज़्यादा है। कई पिछले मैंने देखा था न्यूज में भी आ रहे थे, बहुत सारे जो एम्स के डॉक्टर थे उन्होंने बोला था कि जनवरी तक आने के चांसेस हैं। फिर भी इसका लॉन्ग टर्म इम्पैक्ट है। अगर इस तरह का फीलिंग अगर आप अनुभव करते हैं, किसी भी सिम्टम, कोई भी सिम्टम अगर फील करते हैं कोविड-19 से रिलेटेड जो सिम्टम दिए गए हैं, तो आप अपने आप को लोगों से अलग स्टे अवे रहें और लोगों से इमीडिएट डॉक्टर से कांटेक्ट करें। ये तो एक पुराना डाटा है, लेकिन अभी का जो डाटा कल का जो मैंने डाटा देखा था, उसमें जो रिकवर केसेज जो अभी हैं 87 लाख के करीब हैं, और एक्टिव केसेज जो बताया गया अभी 93 के आसपास है। तो इस तरह से लाख के आसपास है, और डेथ भी है वो भी मतलब अभी 13 या 14-15 लाख के करीब है। तो इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए आपको ये जरूरी है कि आप है जो इस कोविड-19 से कैसे बचें और लोगों को कैसे बचाएं। ये हमने एक डाटा दिया है, अगस्त तक का डाटा है, लेकिन अभी जो रिकवरी केसेस जो अभी आए हैं, जो इस मंथ में अभी तक जो मिनिस्ट्री के अनुसार जो या न्यूज़पेपर में जो भी हाईलाइट हुए हैं, उसमें 87 लाख के करीब है अभी रिकवरी रेट। तो हमारा 93% का जो WHO का या मिनिस्ट्री के हेल्थ मिनिस्ट्री के जो रिपोर्ट आया है, उसमें 90 जो हमारा रिकवरी रेट है वो 93 के आसपास है। तो अब इसका जो इस कोविड-19 में क्या करना है और क्या नहीं करना है, इसके बारे में आपको जानकारी देने जा रहे हैं, और इसमें हम कैसे लोगों को हेल्प कर सकते हैं और अपने आप को हेल्प कर सकते हैं। तो इसका जो मिनिस्ट्री का पहला जो सजेशन है, जो स्लोगन है कि अपने व्यवहार को बदलना है। आपको डेली अपने घर की सफाई करना है, क्लीनिंग हाउस करना है। किसी चीज को टच कर रहे हैं या बाहर से आ रहे हैं और किसी चीज को टच कर रहे हैं, तो उसको ध्यान में रखकर उसको इमीडिएटली है जो आपको डिसइंफेक्टिंग या उसको डिसइंफेक्ट करना है, और अपने आपको डेली आपको क्लीनिंग करना है, डस्टिंग करना है, जिससे कि सेफ स्वच्छ वातावरण आपको अपने रिजिलियंट के लिए रखना है। इस तरह से तो इस मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ जो हेल्थ एंड फैमिली वेलफेयर का जो गाइडलाइन है कि अपने व्यवहार को बदल कर अपने आसपास के सराउंडिंग को क्लीन करके इस कोविड-19 के खतरे को, इस प्रभाव को कम कर सकते हैं और अपने आप को सुरक्षित रख सकते हैं। अब जो दूसरा जो इनका डायरेक्शन है या जो सुझाव है कि मास्क पहनने का तरीका कैसा होना चाहिए, अगर मास्क है जो एक रीयूजेबल है तो उसको डेली वॉश करना है, या अगर मास्क किस तरह से रिमूव करेंगे। तो जो पिक्चर में जो हम लोग देख रहे हैं, जो हमारे प्रेजेंटेशन में है कि मास्क पहनने का जो तरीका होना चाहिए, कैसा होना चाहिए। तो आपको सबसे पहले जब भी मास्क पहने तो उसको अच्छी तरह से बांधना होगा, पीछे टाई करना होगा, और ये भी इंश्योर करना होगा कि आपका माउथ या नोज पूरी तरह से कवर है कि नहीं, या बार बार अपने हाथों से उसको मास्क को नहीं टच करना है। जो आगे का फ्रंट पोर्शन है या उसको फ्रंट जो कवर है उसको टच नहीं करना है, या ये भी इंश्योर करना है कि आपको उस मास्क पहनने के बाद आपको सांस लेने में दिक्कतें आ रही है, या और ये भी ध्यान में रखना है कि आप जो माउथ और नोज जो कवर किए पूरी तरह से कवर है कि नहीं। और उसके अलावा जब मास्क को उतार रहे हैं तो उसको टाई पकड़ कर ही आपको उसको रिमूव करना है। तो ये सारे ध्यान में रखते हुए आपको है जो आपको मास्क पहनने का जो तरीका बताया गया है मिनिस्ट्री की तरफ से, इसको फॉलो करना बहुत ही जरूरी है इस कोविड-19 के सिचुएशन में, और अपने आप को सुरक्षित रखने के लिए। ये जो है सेम उसी का है कि बिहेवियर में चेंज लाना है, और प्रॉपर तरीका जो बताया गया है उसको आपको ध्यान में रखना होगा। इन प्रॉपर तरीका भी इसमें जो है उसको नहीं फॉलो करना है, जिसमें कि नाक नोज को खुला रखना नहीं रखना है, आपको माउथ को अच्छी तरह से ढकना है, या गले के नीचे या हैंगिंग करके नाक नहीं रखना है इस मास्क को। तो ये सारी चीज़ों प्रॉपर वे और प्रॉपर वे है तरीका जो है उसको जब भी मास्क पहने तो इस बिहेवियर को, इस तरह के जो सुझाव दिए गए हैं इस मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ गाइडलाइन, मिनिस्ट्री का जो गाइडलाइन है उसको अवश्य फॉलो करें। उसके बाद जो नेक्स्ट जो इसका जो मिनिस्ट्री का तरीका जो हैंड वॉशिंग का तरीका है, क्योंकि ये सब प्रिवेंटिव मेजर जो हैं इस कोविड-19 से बचने के लिए। अभी पिछले इनॉग्रल सेशन प्रिवेंशन इज बेटर देन क्योर जो हमारे केसवानी साहब ने जो बताया, उसको ध्यान में रख के हमको जो प्रिवेंशन लेनी है, जब भी बाहर से आए चाहे किसी चीज को टच करें या कहीं गैदरिंग प्लेस से आ रहे हैं तो आपको हाथ जरूर साबुन से धोएं, पानी और साबुन से आप हाथ धोएं। और इस जो तरीका बताया गया है मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ एंड फैमिली वेलफेयर का कि कैसे हाथों को रगड़ना है, तो पाम के बीच में या फिंगर के बीच में या अपने बैक साइड में, हैंड के बैक साइड में, उसके बेस में, और उसके जो राइट फिंगर है उसके ऊपर या फिंगर नेल के ऊपर या रिस्ट के आसपास उसको पूरी अच्छी तरह से रब करना है। करीब 2 मिनट 20 मिनट तक आप कर सकते हैं। तो और उसके अलावा उसको हाथ धोकर उसको सुखा लें, और उसके बाद आप है जो इस कोविड-19 से सुरक्षित है, इसके वायरस के प्रभाव से बच सकते हैं। तो इसको ध्यान में आपको रखना होगा। इसमें जो मेजर एक्स्ट्रा केयर की जरूरत है, टेक केयर लेने की जरूरत है कि अगर आपके घर में ओल्ड एज या सीनियर सिटीजन है या कोमॉर्बिड कंडीशन के शिकार कोई भी पेशेंट है, जैसे किसी को हार्ट डिजीज है या किसी को बीपी है या किसी को थायराइड है, तो उनको स्पेशल केयर उनको सुझाव देना है कि आप बाहर नहीं जाएं, अपने घर में ही स्टे रहें, तभी सुरक्षित रह सकते हैं। या प्रेग्नेंट वोमेन हो या बच्चे जो 10 ईयर अंडर 10 ईयर के बच्चे हैं, ये सारे लोगों को आपको टेक केयर करना, एक्स्ट्रा केयर करना पड़ेगा मिनिस्ट्री के गाइडलाइन के अनुसार। उनको स्टे होम उनको सुझाव देना होगा कि अपने घर में ही रहें और सुरक्षित रहें। जरूरी नहीं है तो बाहर नहीं निकलें, अननेसेसरी नहीं निकलें। तो इस तरह का जो आप बिहेवियर है उनको सुझाव है आपको देना पड़ेगा, जिससे आप अपने घर में इस एज के लोगों को या इस जो लोग हैं जो इसको जो हाई वल्नरेबल लोग हैं इस सिचुएशन में, उनको आप सुरक्षित रख सकते हैं। उसके बाद जो है नेक्स्ट जो स्लाइड है वो डिस्कस करेंगे कि बच्चे को कैसे इस कोविड-19 से सुरक्षित रखना है। और बच्चा जो है हमेशा अपने पेरेंट्स के गाइडलाइन में रहता है, बच्चे पर डिपेंड रहता है, तो उसको ध्यान जो उसके पेरेंट्स उनको सुझाव देते हैं वो बच्चा अच्छी तरह से सुनता है। तो इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए आपको बच्चे को बताना है कि किस तरह से फ्रिक्वेंटली हैंड वॉशिंग करना है, या अपने हाथ को बार बार मास्क को नहीं छूना है, या बच्चे जो यूज कर रहे हैं टॉय या कैबिनेट या स्टोर्स या टेबल टॉप जो भी है उसको डेली डिसइंफेक्ट करना है। इसके अलावा जो कभी दूसरे बच्चे से मिलना है या किसी लोगों से मिलना है तो कम से कम 6 फीट की दूरी का जो गाइडलाइन है उसको फॉलो करना है। इसके अलावा इंडोर गेम में ज़्यादा लोगों को नहीं सम्मिलित करना है, और अगर जरूरी है तभी किसी पार्टी में या फंक्शन में जाने के लिए। तो ये सारी चीजें जो है आपको बच्चे को बतानी है, जिससे कि बच्चे हैं जो सुरक्षित रख सके और इस कोविड-19 के प्रभाव से बच सके। और ये हमारी एज ए केयर गिवर या एज ए पेरेंट हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बनती है कि बच्चे को ये सारी जो इंफॉर्मेशन है इस कोविड-19 से बचने के लिए जो सुझाव है उसको अच्छी तरह से बताएं। और इसके अलावा और भी कुछ जानकारियां अगर लेनी है इस कोविड-19 से के प्रिवेंशन से, मिटिगेशन से रिलेटेड, तो आप 1098 पे कॉल करके चाइल्ड लाइन जो नंबर है उस पर आप जानकारी ले सकते हैं। इसके अलावा जो नेक्स्ट जो सुझाव है जो कि हम लोग ज़्यादातर देखते हैं कि हम अगर टिश्यू पेपर यूज कर रहे हैं या हैंडकरचीफ यूज कर रहे हैं तो उसको या तो हैंडकरचीफ को धो लें, डेली उसको वॉश करें, या टिश्यू पेपर यूज कर रहे हैं तो उसको डस्टबिन में डिस्पोज करें जो कि बंद हो, क्लोज बिन हो जो हो उसमें डालें। और उसको यूज करने के बाद उसको रिमूव करने के बाद है जो आप अपने हाथ को अच्छी तरह से साबुन और पानी से धो लें। तो एक कैच इट और विन इट और किल इट का जो स्लोगन दिया गया है मिनिस्ट्री की तरफ से, इसको आपको व्यवहार में लाना है और बदलकर अपना व्यवहार करें। कोरोना बार जो इन्होंने स्लोगन दिया है उसको फॉलो करके ही इस कोविड-19 से अपने आप को सुरक्षित रख सकते हैं और लोगों को भी इसको अपने आप को भी और लोगों को भी सुरक्षित रख सकते हैं। और एक जो नेक्स्ट है जो है कि अगर जो स्पीड है पब्लिक प्लेस में आपको नहीं करना है, नहीं तो इससे रिस्क बढ़ना है। जो कोविड-19 का जो स्प्रेड होने का जो रिस्क है वो काफ़ी बढ़ सकता है। तो इसको हमेशा ध्यान में रखें कि पब्लिक प्लेस पे या जहाँ तहाँ आप जो थूकने की आदत होती है लोगों को, उसको कम से कम व्यवहार में चेंज लाकर इस कोविड-19 के स्प्रेड को कम करने में सरकार की मदद करें और अपने आप को भी सुरक्षित रखें। अगर आप है जो कोई प्राइवेट वाहन का यूज कर रहे हैं या किसी तरह के प्राइवेट एकोमोडेशन का यूज कर रहे हैं तो वहाँ पर भी आपको जो मिनिस्ट्री का जो 6 फीट का जो गाइडलाइन है उसको 6 फीट की दूरी को फॉलो करना है। और स्टे हैप्पी रहने के लिए और हेल्दी रहने के लिए जो गाइडलाइन है बहुत ही जरूरी है और इसको ध्यान में रखकर आप इसको बदल सकते हैं। इसके अलावा जब कोई अगर मीटिंग करना हो तो नमस्कार का ही यूज करें। ये नहीं करें कि उनसे जाके हाथ मिलाएंगे या किसी तरह का उनको गले मिलना है। ये आपको ये सारी चीजें अवॉइड करना है और पुरानी जो ट्रेडिशनल जो हमारा नमस्कार का जो मुद्रा है, नमस्कार को ही फॉलो करना है। ये नमस्ते वाला जो तरीका है उसको फॉलो करना है, हाथ नहीं से मिलाना है लोगों से। और ये इससे हम कोविड-19 से बच सकते हैं इसके प्रभाव से। जब भी पब्लिक प्लेस में या कहीं भी जाएं या रिलीजियस प्लेस में तो 6 फीट की दूरी जो है बस मेंटेन करें। अपने शूज और फुटवेयर को बाहर ही रख दें या किसी सेपरेट स्लॉट पे रखें, जिससे कि आप इस कोविड-19 के जो 6 फीट की दूरी मेंटेन करते हुए अपने आप को।
Mr. Ranjan, sorry to intervene.
Yeah.
How much time you require, Mr. Ranjan?
बस 5 minutes I will complete. Do and don't.
Thank you, Mr. Ranjan. Thank you.
अगर जब भी पब्लिक वाहन का यूज करें तो 6 फीट की दूरी जो है उसके अनुसार मास्क लगाकर यूज करें। इसके अलावा जब ऑफिस में अगर किसी तरह का मीटिंग अरेंज कर रहे हैं तो वहाँ भी 6 फीट का और 2 गज की दूरी का जो गाइडलाइन है मिनिस्ट्री का उसको भी अवश्य फॉलो करें। और इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए आप जो सीट अरेंज करें अभी किसी भी मीटिंग में। इसके अलावा जो है सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग का जो हमारी मिनिस्ट्री का जो गाइडलाइन है, सेफ्टी नॉर्म्स है कि जरूरी है तभी जब भी हॉस्पिटल जाएं या मार्केट में जाएं या रेस्टोरेंट में जाएं या पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट में जाएं तो 1 मीटर की दूरी रखें। अवॉइड करें पब्लिक मीटिंग, अवॉइड करें। घर से ही अगर वर्क फ्रॉम होम को ज़्यादा प्रीफर करें। उसके अलावा है जो आपको गेस्ट हैं किसी तरह का इवेंट है तो उसमें कम से कम गेस्ट को बुलाएं। इस तरह से आप इस डूज एंड डोंट्स का जो तरीका है उसको फॉलो करते हुए इस कोविड-19 से के खतरे से कम कर सकते हैं। अगर आपको कोविड पॉजिटिव आप हो जाते हैं किसी तरह से, तो उसको तो आपको कैसे क्या क्या ध्यान देना है, इस कोविड अगर कोई होम क्वारंटाइन रहना है तो क्या क्या टिप्स है। तो आप अगर कोविड-19 के पॉजिटिव के शिकार हो रहा है तो आपको अपने आप को सेपरेट करना है, एक रूम जो कि अटैच टॉयलेट के साथ होना चाहिए। अपने रिलेटिव से दूरी मेंटेन करके रखें 1 मीटर की। लोगों से, अपने ओल्ड एज के लोगों से, प्रेग्नेंट वुमेन, अगर बच्चे आपके घर में हैं तो उनसे नहीं मिले। इसके अलावे घर में पूरी तरह से मूवमेंट नहीं करें, अपने हैंड वॉशिंग को डेली, किसी चीज को छुएं तो उसको तुरंत डिसइंफेक्ट करें, किसी चीज को शेयर करें तो उसको मास्क जरूर लगाएं। तो इस तरह से आप इस होम क्वारंटाइन से के थ्रू अपने आप को सुरक्षित रखते हुए अपनी फैमिली को सुरक्षित रख सकते हैं। इस कोविड-19 का असर जो है मेंटल हेल्थ पर, बच्चों के मेंटल हेल्थ पर या हर एज के बच्चे लोगों के मेंटल हेल्थ, तो इसके लिए आपको करना है कि बी पॉजिटिव होना है, डेली योगा का प्रैक्टिस करना है, लोगों अपने फैमिली या फ्रेंड से कनेक्ट रहना है, उनसे डेली बात करनी है, अपने आप को एंगेज करना है, एक्टिव रखना है हर चीज में, स्टे अवे फ्रॉम टबैको, अल्कोहल या किसी तरीके का जो है उसको, और अच्छी नींद लेनी है। तो इससे मेंटल स्ट्रेस है इस कोविड-19 के सिचुएशन है उसको कम कर सकते हैं। अगर आप किसी तरह का एंग्जाइटी का फील कर रहे हैं, आपको नींद नहीं आ रही है, आप थकावट महसूस कर रहे हैं, टायर्डनेस महसूस कर रहे हैं, आपको कोई काम करने में मन नहीं लग रहा है, नेगेटिव थॉट्स आ रहे हैं, सुसाइडल थॉट आ रहे हैं, तो इमीडिएटली अगर आप डिप्रेशन में हैं तो इमीडिएटली है जो आप कंसल्ट करें साइकोलॉजिस्ट से या मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट लें इससे रिलेटेड। ये जो एंग्जाइटी को कम करने के लिए आप है जो लोगों के फैमिली के बीच कनेक्ट हैं, एक्सरसाइज करें, पूरी तरह से सोना है और बैलेंस डाइट लेना है। तो इस तरह से आप है जो इस कोविड-19 का जो इम्पैक्ट है, साइको सोशल इम्पैक्ट है, उसको कम कर सकते हैं और अपने आप को इसके प्रभाव से प्रभाव को कम कर सकते हैं। इसी तरह जो आज का जो डूज एंड डोंट्स का जो सेशन है हमारा इस ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम का, मैं यहीं समाप्त करता हूँ। या ये जो है गाइडलाइन जो दिए गए हैं, जो हेल्पलाइन नंबर दिए गए हैं, इस पे आप फोन करके कोई भी जानकारियां ले सकते हैं। ये मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ एंड फैमिली वेलफेयर गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का नंबर है और इसके आधार पे आप कोई भी जानकारी ले सकते हैं। तो थैंक यू फॉर
Thank you very much, sir, for telling the audience about do's and don'ts of COVID-19. Now, let me introduce you to the next speaker of the session, who is going to speak on the basic concepts of disaster risk management, Dr. Balu I, who is working in CCDRR, Center of National Institute of Disaster Management, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. Previously, he served as an assistant professor at Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development. He has 2 years research experience from National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayat Raj, NIRD and DR. Overall, he has 10 years of development experience. He has received his PhD in sociology from Madurai Kamraj University. He has coordinated national level workshops and training programs in on various themes. He has published 2 books and more than 25 papers in national and international journals. Welcome, Dr. Balu I, for joining us, and over to you for the session on basic concepts of disaster risk management. Please, Balu I, sir.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, sir.
Let me share my screen. Is my PowerPoint is visible?
Yes, yes.
Can anyone confirm?
Yes.
Is it visible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
thank
sir.
you so much. Very good afternoon to all the participants. My presentation will be in English. Please kindly bear with me. In this session, we are going to discuss about 10 important basic terminology which is being used in the disaster risk management field. And you may have attended any training program previously, and you may attended this session also. Even in this CCDRR session also, you need to understand the basic concepts. Unless if you are not understanding these basic concepts, it won't be very much useful to in the future other aspects when you are going to discuss tomorrow and day after tomorrow, right? So we will be discussing about what is disaster, what is hazard, and what is the difference between disaster and hazard, vulnerability, disaster damage, mitigation, preparedness, prevention. So these are all certain important basic concepts which we are going to discuss today, right? I'll be explaining about the definition, and follow with that I also will give a practical example so that you can easily understand what is the you can easily understand.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Right? Am I audible?
Go ahead. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very much. You have to open the PPT, sir. PPT. Screen share. Screen share. Your screen is. PPT you have to open, sir. Basics of DM that.
I have already done that.
Yes, sir. Open it, sir.
Is it visible my PPT now?
Balu, open your PPT on desktop.
Open nahi ho raha hai, sir. It is not getting open.
Just a minute. Let me
screen
try
is visible.
Let me try once again now.
No.
I think now it's visible.
Yeah.
Hazard.
Yes, visible, sir. Visible.
Thank you so much. Okay. So the first concept which you are going to see is a hazard, right? I'll just explain the definition, then I also give you a practical example so that you can understand easily. So the hazard is a process or phenomena or activity that may cause for a loss of life, or it may be a threat, or it is also a potential for the damage. Okay, that's called a hazard. And it also many times damages the human life and material losses, and even some infrastructure losses also will be there. And it may be due to hazards like a natural or anthropogenic or socio-natural in the origin, right? So if you see here, it's a process or phenomena. For example, raising the sea level, right? Raising the sea level is a hazard. There is a potential for the impact. There is a chance for loss of life, right? Similarly, there is a earthquake in the desert area. Okay, then it is a hazard. Okay. Similarly, there is a fire accident in the godown where nobody is there. Okay, so it's all hazard. Clear? Now, if you see this mountain, there is a stone on the top. This stone, it may fall down at any time. So that it's a hazard. Okay. So now let's move to the disaster. So after that, so that you can understand the difference between what is hazard and what is disaster. Okay. Now we are seeing the disaster. Disaster is a serious disruption of the functions of the community or a society at any scale. So due to this hazardous event or this disasters, when there is a disrupt or any society or any organization, then it is called disaster. For example, recently if you take Niver cyclone, okay, and you also can take a best example, you can take COVID-19. Before COVID-19, we were regularly going to our office, the children were going to school, and we were doing our routine day-to-day life activities. But after this COVID-19, the routine life has been disrupted. Okay, at the entire nation. So it's a disaster. Okay, and because of this COVID-19, there was a Human loss, people have been infected, and there was an economic loss, GDP has gone down, many people have lost their income, right? So because of the particular hazardous event, when the community or individuals day-to-day routine life is being disrupted, then it is called disaster. Okay, now I'll explain the difference between hazard and disaster. The same I was telling, if there is a earthquake in the desert area, then it is a hazard. If the same earthquake happened in one of the major city in any of our country, then there will be a huge loss. People may lose their life. People may there may be huge material losses. There will be a lot of infrastructure losses, like houses may be damaged, and the roads may be damaged, public buildings may be damaged, right? So it is a hazard, it is a disaster. And because of the disaster, the people may not able to go to their routine life, and their day-to-day activities may be disrupted. Okay, but when the same hazard, when the same earthquake occurred in the desert, there is no much losses. It's just threat. So it is a hazard. Similarly, if you take, there is a earthquake in the Indian Ocean or Bay of Bengal. So because of that earthquake, if we get small waves, small tsunami waves, and there is no any impact in the coastal area, then it is a hazard. But the same earthquake happened in the Bay of Bengal, and because of that, if 150 meters height tsunami waves came, and you can imagine the 2004 tsunami, when it was disrupted the routine life of the people, then it is a disaster. Okay, so the hazard is just where there is a potential for the loss, or when the event occurs, there is no loss. Okay, then it is a hazard. So here, because of that event, when our routine life is being disrupted and we were looking for the help from the outside, then it is called a disaster. Hope you understand the difference between a disaster and a hazard. Okay, and by you see this picture, there is a mountain, and when the stone fell down, the person has died. It's a disaster. And if you see the previous slide, the stone fell down. So the event of falling down of that stone is a hazard. So now let's understand what is disaster risk. Again, there is a potential loss of life or injury or destroyed or damaged asset, which could occur to the system or society or a community in a specific period of time. Particularly for a function of hazard, exposure, vulnerability, and capacity. See, the same people who are living in the COVID-19 containment zone, they all are in the disaster risk. They are in the risk of COVID-19. Similarly, people who are living in the coastal area, they are in the disaster risk, because every year during the rainy season, we are facing the cyclones. And people who are living in the highest seismic zone, earthquake seismic zone, they are in the disaster risk. Similarly, people who are living in the river bank, they are in the flood disaster risk. Okay. So similarly, if you see this picture, the person who is standing below this mountain is also here in the disaster risk, because we know that there is going to be a disaster, like a flood or earthquake or whatever may be. So because of that, there is a chance for potential loss of life or getting injury. So it's called disaster risk. Now let's see vulnerability. The conditions, vulnerability is defined by the conditions determined by physical, socio-economic, and environmental factors which increase the susceptibility of that individual or community. Okay. Now, again, take an example of COVID-19 containment zone. So the people who are living in that containment zone, they are most vulnerable because of the environmental factor where they located. Similarly, people who are living in the earthquake, high earthquake seismic zone, they are most vulnerable people because of the environmental factor where they located. Similarly, the coastal area people who has living in the seashore, they are also in the coastal area, they are also in the highest vulnerability. Okay, and see this picture, the person who is standing below this mountain is a differently abled person. When the stone falls down, if it is a normal human being, he can run away and he is not much vulnerable because he may save his life. Because of the person who is standing is a differently abled or alternatively abled, there is a chance of increase the susceptibility of the impact, which increase the, because the differently ableness physical is physical, that factor, physical factor is increase the susceptibility of that particular individual from the impact of that particular hazard. Similarly, if you take people who are living in the seashore, who do not have any boat, who do not have a pakka house, they are economically vulnerable. They are economically vulnerable. Okay. And similarly, people who do not have a who do not affordable to buy a sanitizer or mask, they all are economically vulnerable. Because of that economic vulnerability, there is a chance of increase the susceptibility of the particular individual or community to increase the impact of that hazard. Okay. Now let's going to see about the exposure. It is basically the situation of people or infrastructure or housing I'm sorry, it may be from the coordinator, that's why okay. Now, now we are going to see the situation of people and the infrastructure of the housing production capacities, which is located in the hazard prone area. So what is hazard prone area? We know that coastal areas are highest earthquake, SMIC zone, or the COVID-19 containment zones. Okay, people who are living in the seashore, right? They have a exposure. They have a exposure because anytime there may be a chance of to occur that hazard or the disaster. If a hazard occurs in the area of no exposure, then there is no risk. For example, in the fire occurred in the one godown, means or the damaged buildings, then there is no exposure because no people are living there. Similarly, the earthquake occurred in the where like a desert area, there is no exposure. Okay, because there is no risk there because no people are there. So hope you understand the exposure now. Now we are going to see the capacity. I would like to interact with few people. What do you mean by capacity? Can anyone tell me? So you can also type in the chat box. If you can able to unmute yourself, you can unmute and speak to me. I'm raising a question as per your understanding. What is capacity in the field of disaster management? Anyone? You can also type in the chat box, or you can anybody? Just I'm asking, what do you mean by capacity? Can you give some example in the field of disaster management? If you could able to unmute, you can unmute and speak, or you also can give me a you also can type in the chat box.
एक आंसर आया है इस पे, एबिलिटी टू withstand disaster.
Yeah, I got an answer. I am also seeing the chat box. Ajay Patnakar has typed that ability to withstand with the disaster. Okay, perfect. Ability. One is there, ability. Okay. Anybody else? Please type in the chat box. Okay. So you also can type in the chat box. By the time I also will explain. So the capacity refers to the all strengths, attributes, and resources available within a community, organization, or society to manage and reduce the disaster risk and strengthen the resilience. One is strength. For example, the skill of swimming, okay, the skill of first aid services, the skill of tree climbing. These are all the strength of an individual or community, okay, which is also a capacity. and the attributes like knowledge which you are gaining from this session, like knowledge on COVID-19 do's and don'ts, and knowledge on do's and don'ts during a cyclone or earthquake. It's all attributes. Okay, and the resources, like if you visit any hospital or because mall, you can see that a fire extinguisher which is available, or the evacuation map which is available in the particular organization or institution. These are all the capacity of the particular organization or an individual. For example, if there is a flood, if you know the like a swimming, then it is your strength which helps you to reduce the flood risk. And similarly, you are living in a village where is a COVID-19 infected people. If you know do's and don'ts, that knowledge which is helpful to reduce the COVID-19 risk. Okay, and okay, so these, and similarly, like if you are having a mask and sanitizer, these are also a resources within which is available to you to help you to mitigate the risk of COVID-19. So hope you understand what is capacity. And I'll also give by seeing this picture also you can easily understand what is capacity. There is a mountain and the stone fall from the mountain. The person who is living is, you can just imagine it is a concrete protection. Just imagine that he is living in a concrete building. So that concrete building is a capacity for him. When this stone fell down, it may not hit him. It may not affect him because of that concrete building. It may damage only that building. So he may get only little injury. What I'm trying to say is that disaster risk is being reduced here. So that is the capacity for him. And similarly, you can think that he is living in a winter season and he is having a fire nearby him. So that fire gives a capacity to him so that he can cope with that winter season, right? Oh, can anyone give me now example of any individual's capacity for what to say, any individual's capacity or community's capacity for earthquake? Anybody? You can type in the chat box, or you also can speak if you can unmute yourself. Anybody, what is the capacity for earthquake situation? Institution development, human resource development, building existing skill. Okay, resistant building construction. Exactly. Nagaraju has given an answer. Resistant buildings construction, earthquake resistant houses. Okay, and if you have a safe room, it's also a capacity for you. And if you know where you have to stand, if you know the knowledge of standing, means being outside from the buildings, that is also a capacity. That is the attributes which you are having is also a capacity for you. Thank you. So hope you have understand what is capacity. And the Ajay Pranar also written that respond and awareness and training to face the condition. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Nagraj and Patnakar, for your answer. So now we are going to see the disaster damage. If you see after any disaster, we used to see a lot of news in the papers or TV, and they used to mention all the damages in terms of physical unit, right? So the disaster occurs. When the disaster occurs, during and after, there is a damage. So it may be a human loss or material loss or infrastructural loss. So we all used to mention the damages in terms of physical units. For example, if number of houses were damaged and number of people infected, number of people died. Okay, and similarly, if you see, take a house, number of houses partially damaged, number of houses fully damaged, or kilometers of roads were damaged. Okay, so what are the services were being disrupted, like electric services, telephone services, cable services were also being disrupted. So these, what I'm trying to say, the disaster damages are being assessed in terms of physical units. Okay, and So, and another term, now we are also doing a disaster risk management. Before 2004 to tsunami and 2005 Disaster Risk Management Act, we were only responding to the disaster. When the disaster occurs, we were providing the food, water, and shelter to the affected people. But after this Disaster Management Act, there is a paradigm shift towards disaster risk management. We have started managing the risk, like preparedness, prevention, and mitigation activities before the disaster. And after the disaster, we are doing recovery, response, and also reconstruction activities. So the disaster risk management is an organization planning and application of measures for preparing and responding to the recovering from the disaster. So disaster risk management means it starts from the preparedness to and recovering from the disaster. Okay, so now let's understand the risk. So this hazard, vulnerability, and exposure, which is multiplying your risk, and the capacity is reducing your risk. So let me give an example that hazard. You can take that cyclone or level of sea, level of rising the sea is a hazard. Okay, and you are you have a children, they are vulnerable, the women are vulnerable, and you can imagine the people are differently able, they are vulnerable, who are living in that seashore area. And exposure, since you are located in that seashore river, means coastal area, and you have a exposure. Okay, so this cyclone and the vulnerability, which you have physical vulnerability and the exposure, which all three is multiplying your risk. And if you have a capacity of like a strength, you know, swimming skill, and the knowledge you have, attributes you have, a do's and don'ts during the cyclone or flood, and you have a resources like a boat, life jacket, and pakka building, these are all going to reduce your risk. Okay, so now let's see prevention. Uh, Activities and measures to avoid existing and new disaster risk. So whatever the activities which you are taking to remove completely or completely to eradicate the risk, then it is a prevention. Hope you all understand. Whatever the activities or measures which you are taking to avoid the risk or completely remove the risk, then it is a prevention. Okay, sometimes certain risks cannot be eliminated. In that case, the reduce the vulnerability and exposure in that context of disaster, which is not removed. Okay, for example, you are living in a flood risk area. The construction of dams and embankments that eliminate the flood risk. If you are constructing a dam or embankments that eliminate the flood risk, so it is called prevention. Okay, so I'm just repeating some important words. Prevention is the activities or measures which you're taking to remove the risk, completely or free from the risk, by eradicate or avoiding the risk. It's a prevention. See this picture, the person who is standing below a mount, from the top of the mountain, there is a stone. If the stone falls, then the person may die. Now there is a chain which holds that stone. Now he is completely free from the risk. The risk is removed, avoided, eliminated, because the chain holds the stone. It may not fall down now because it's holds, so the stone won't fall down. Okay, so it is a prevention. Clear? So it's a prevention activity. If you are living in a flood area, you are constructing the dam So the flood risk is completely removed. Okay. Landslide. Take an example of landslide. You are living in a top of that, how to say, top of that hills where the soil is very weak. You are in the risk. In case if you are shifting yourself from that particular place, you are constructing a house in a safer place, then that particular landslide risk is removed. Okay. So I will be explaining about prevention, mitigation, and preparedness. After explaining this all, I'll ask you a question of difference between these all three. Okay, activities which are taking to lessen or minimize or reduce the impact of the hazardous event, then it is a mitigation. Okay, so the activities or measures which are taking to lessen or minimize or reduce the impact of the hazardous event is a mitigation activity. Many times the mitigation measures also includes engineering techniques, hazard resistant constructions, and well improved environmental and social practices, policies, and public awareness. Okay. Now I'll give an example. Like we have a policy of COVID-19 containment zone. That policy is a mitigation measures. Okay, and we have a policy of do not construct any houses within 100 meters of the seashore area. It's a policy for minimizing the risk. Okay, and we have a policy, we have a earthquake resistant constructions, houses is a mitigation measures. Okay, and similarly, see this example now. There is a mountain. The person is living in the concrete house. You can imagine, or there is a stone protection for the person. When the stone falls down, he is protected by this concrete building, so the impact is less here. He may be saved from the stone. His life is saved here. So this concrete building is protecting him, so the impact is reduced here. So it is a mitigation measures. Okay, hope you understand the difference now. Similarly, have given 3-4 examples so that we have understand what is mitigation. Now let's move to the preparedness. So after that, I'll give example of comparing these all three. Preparedness, the knowledge and capacities developed by government and response and recovery organizations and community and individuals to effectively anticipate and respond and recover from the impact, likely imminent or current disasters. The best example in this training program, training programs are being organized by National Institute of Disaster Management or National Disaster Response Force, or this State Disaster Management Authority, SDMA, or District Disaster Management Authorities. It's a preparedness activity. For example, COVID-19 do's and don'ts. The first session was held. So we have built your knowledge and capacities through this training program, which help you to respond when you are living in a containment zone or when in your day-to-day life, you could be able to follow those do's and don'ts. It's a preparedness. Okay. Similarly, when the disaster occurs, you see this picture, when the stone falls, the person is giving a warning to all the people, it's going to fall down. So all the people have been evacuated themselves from that particular place. It's a preparedness activity. Okay. So now you all understand prevention, mitigation, and preparedness. I'm just repeating the definition of all these three important terms. Prevention is any activities or measures which you are taking to completely remove or avoid the risk is called prevention. Mitigation is the activities or measures which you are taking to minimize or lessening or reducing the impact of hazardous event is the mitigation. It also includes public policy or engineering techniques. Okay, and the preparedness is knowledge and capacities being developed by government and various organizations to effectively anticipate and respond from the disasters. Okay, so now let me explain this situation. You are requesting all of you to listen carefully. You have to answer me after this. You are living in a COVID-19 containment zone. You are supposed to go outside for some important work. In this situation, what is mitigation? What mitigation measures you will take? You can type in chat box. You also can, if possible, unmute yourself and speak. Be carefully and going in your words which you are going to answer, because I'm going to ask example for preparedness, mitigation, and prevention one by one. So now answer me as a part of mitigation what you will do. I'm repeating the situation. You are living in a COVID-19 containment zone and you are supposed to go outside for some important work. So in this situation, as a part of mitigation measures, what you will do? You can type in the chat box. You also can, if possible, unmute and speak. I'm watching, or I'm just seeing all the answers in the chat box. Anybody? We have seen three terms: prevention, mitigation, and preparedness. Now I'm waiting for the response of mitigation measures. Anybody? All of you listening to me? No answers in chat box. Okay. Second question. What do we do for prevention? Anybody can type in. And what are the preparedness here? Type your answer. Type the question. If you are answering for preparedness, then type preparedness. We will.
Hello. Hello. There is some technical problem. Dr. Balu will join soon. There is some technical problem. He will join again.
सर टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लम के कारण बालू सर है जो डिस्कनेक्ट हो गए हैं, तो इस बीच में अगर कोई भी पार्टिसिपेंट का अगर
Thank you, Mr. Ranjan. Thank you, Mr. Ranjan. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, due to technical issue, I was out. I am back here.
Join. Balu sir. Welcome, Balu sir.
Yeah, I'm sharing my slides again. I'm sorry for the technical disruption here. Hope all of you listen to my questions. So, yeah, somebody has typed here in the chat box, Chawla, social distancing, regular hand washing and using mask. What it is? I expect this answer, but what it is? Is it a preparedness or is it a mitigation or is it a prevention? Tell me. I have received answer from Ajay Patnakar. Firstly, get an idea of how much time required to complete particular work. Wear mask, maintain social distancing if possible, private vehicle, will not go out, stay at home. Okay. Chawla has typed prevention. Okay. Wearing mask and maintaining social distancing is all regular hand washing is a prevention he mentioned. Okay, fine. And Manraj came and typed the prevention is better than cure. Okay, fine. Kumar Singh Sawan, preventive measures are the best way. Right, you all are right, but my question nobody has answered me. Firstly, identify the mitigation work, cost accordingly, take the COVID protocols. Fine. If possible, walk through street or road where number of people are less. Fine, it's all good, but what it is? Is it mitigation or is it prevention or is it preparedness? Preparedness, okay. Nilesh Kumar says generally it's preparedness. What is your answer? Mitigation. Okay, fine. Though we have received a lot of answers, but nobody has told what this answer is for what. Okay, let me explain once again. If you are going outside to complete that important work and wearing mask, maintaining social distancing, be careful with the words, wearing mask, maintaining social distancing, using sanitizer, and these all three is here mitigation measures. Okay, using mask, wearing mask, using sanitizer, and wearing a gloves, it's all mitigation measures which will reduce the impact of which will reduce the infection from the COVID-19. Okay, and the knowledge which you are having, do's and don'ts, and if you're taking mask with you and you are taking sanitizer with you and you are taking hand gloves with you, it's all preparedness. Carrying with you is a preparedness, and using the sanitizer and wearing the mask, it's all like a mitigation measures. Okay, now as a part of prevention, what you can do not go outside, complete your work over the phone, stay inside your home and wash your hands frequently and disinfect the houses frequently. It's a prevention. If you are not going out of the home, then only you are completely safe. Okay, so I hope you understand the difference between prevention, mitigation and preparedness. Okay, now you are driving a bike, you are wearing a helmet, it's a mitigation measure. While driving a car, you are wearing a seat belt, it's a mitigation measure. Okay, we have a policy of taking license. Okay, and we are going for the driving school, it's all preparedness. Similarly, in a coastal area, when there is a lightning or thunderstorm, you are switching off all the electronic equipments. You are stopping the electricity. It's a prevention, which will completely remove the risk of affecting all the electronic equipments. You are constructing the earthquake resistant houses. It's a mitigation measures. Okay. So you understand the difference between all these three. important terms. So now let's move to the other terms. Response and rehabilitation. What is a response? Any actions taken directly before, during, and immediately after a disaster in order to save the life and reduce the health impact. You may take any action before the disaster, during the disaster, and after the disaster. It's all response. If the activities are prone to save the life, reduce the health impact, then it is a response. For example, before the cyclone, we are giving the early warning. We are giving, before heavy rain, we are giving the alert. Right? We are, like you take example of this Nivar cyclone recently landfall. Every 1 hour, the pathway of cyclone was predicted and given, shared with all the common people so that they can be safe, the lives can be saved. So giving early warning, and during the disaster, if somebody has struck somewhere, you are evacuating them during the cyclone also. And after cyclone, if the people were not having any food, the foods were given and the water, shelters were given, it's all response activity. These were being done to save the life and reduce the health impact. So it is a response. Taking directly before, during, and after the disaster in order to save the life and reduce the health impact, it is a response. So like early warning, evacuation, providing food and water, okay, it's all comes under the response. Now let's see rehabilitation. It is for the functions of the community or a society affected by the disaster. Let me take again the example of Nivar cyclone. Now, all the roads were, all the transport disrupted. The roads were blocked by the trees. So now, all the response in the NDRF and the volunteers, they are cutting down all the trees and they are removing the trees. It's a restoration of the transport services. Similarly, a lot of electric poles were fell down. They are putting the new electric poles and they are removing the old cables to rehabilitate the electricity services. So it's a I'm sorry for the background noises. So providing these restoration of basic services and facilities like transport, electricity, right? It's for rehabilitation. So now let's see recovery. The restoring or improving of livelihoods. Okay, improving of livelihoods, health, as well as economic, physical and social and cultural and environmental assets. It's all called recovery, like improving of livelihoods. During we can say that build back better. Again, I'm relating with the recent cyclone due to COVID-19. Sorry, due to this Nivar cyclone, a lot of people have lost their, some people have lost their houses, some buffaloes or cows were being died. So we are providing the new livelihood opportunities for those people. So it's a recovery. So improving of livelihoods, health, economic, physical and social and cultural environmental assets. Like economic, 4 people have been died. The Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu has given 10 lakh rupees for each family who lost the human people. So it's an economic, improving of their economic. Okay. So restoring on improving of livelihoods, health and other aspects is called recovery. Reconstruction. Recovery and reconstruction looks like similar, but there is a difference in terms of the period. So the reconstruction is a medium and long term. building and sustainable restoration of resilient. Critical infrastructure, services, housing facilities, and livelihoods. Okay, these recoveries are providing like livelihood activities and temporary houses. It all comes under here. But in the reconstruction, it's a long term. For example, after tsunami, it took 6 years to provide the Paka house for all the people who lost their houses. It's a reconstruction. Similarly, in the cyclone Gaja in 2018, so many people have lost their houses. So it took almost more than 1 year to reconstruct their houses. And if the roads are being damaged, it may take a year to construct all the roads.
Yeah. Hello. There is again a technical issue, I think. Dr. Balu.
डॉक्टर बालू का सर कनेक्शन फिर से डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया है तो एक्चुअली सेशन का लास्ट स्लाइड था, लगता है रिजिलियंस के बारे में बता रहे थे और रिकंस्ट्रक्शन के बारे में बता रहे थे। तो रिकंस्ट्रक्शन, रिकवरी, ये सारे कवर हो चुके हैं अभी। तो अगर किसी पार्टिसिपेंट का क्वेश्चन या है तो अपने चैट बॉक्स में शेयर कर दें, जिससे कि जब ज्वाइन करते हैं बालू सर तो उसका जवाब दिया जा सके।
रंजन सर, बालू सर ने ज्वाइन किया है।
रंजन
ज्वाइन कर लिया
ऑलरेडी। हाँ, ज्वाइन कर लिया है।
ओके, वो लास्ट ही
बालू सर।
सॉरी टेक्निकल
yes, you are audible.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm extremely sorry for the technical problem. So due to the poor network, I'm frequently
आज भी streaming हो रहा है again.
So the reconstruction is the building back better. For example, the people have lost.
सर फिर से ऑडिबल नहीं है आप।
Yes.
नहीं बीच में वॉइस ब्रेक हो रहा है सर। बालू सर।
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Voice is breaking because of the network problem, I think.
Is it okay now, sir?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, Balu.
Yeah, thank you. And again, I'm sorry for the technical problem here. Yeah. So the reconstruction is a medium and long-term process. It's a building back better. For example, if the people have lost their houses in the cyclone or earthquake, and building the better houses.
Balu sir,
again, if we construct the houses, for example, still it's breaking.
Balu sir, again the voice is breaking. If you just switch off your video, then your voice can be clearly heard. If you switch off your video, then your voice can be heard.
Thank you so much for the suggestion. So,
thank you, sir.
For example, the people have lost their houses in the earthquake, and as a part of recovery, if you are constructing the Pakka houses, and when you are constructing the houses, you are building with the earthquake-resistant houses, so that even if once again the earthquake occurs, the houses may be a little bit stable. So it's called a reconstruction. So it's a building back better. Okay. Let me come to the last aspect, last term. It's resilience. Okay. The people also can type in chat box. What do you mean by resilience? And you also can give some example also. if you have understand. So the resilience refers to the ability of individuals and communities and systems to be resistant to the shocks and stress brought about forward. Resilience as like a capacity of individual. You can say that Indian human beings, Indian people's bodies are resilient. That's why even after infecting from COVID-19, so even after infecting from COVID-19 also, they could able to cope up and they could able to recover themselves. Okay, so we can say we are resilient people, resilient, we are having a resilient health. And similarly, if you have no swimming, that is your ability and your capacity, that is also a resilience. So even if flood comes, you could be able to save your life and come back to the normalcy. And I can say that Odisha is one of the resilient state. Even after facing 2-3 cyclones every year, they could able to come back to the normal life immediately, right? Within 2 days or 3 days, they are becoming a normal, they are coming back to the normal life. I'll give an example of resilience. For example, if you take a ballpoint pen, which has a spring, right? And if you take out that spring outside and if you push it, as much as you push, it will jump back better. It will bounce back. Similarly, if you throw a ball on the wall, it will come back to you immediately. So it's a resilience. Okay, so even after facing this COVID-19 or any type of disaster, due to the capacities built by the government institutions and your individual resources, if you could able to come back to the normalcy, it is a resilience. Okay. So with this, let me come. If you have any questions, I request. Any questions, please? So overall, in this session, we have seen this disaster, what is hazard and difference between disaster and hazard, right? And vulnerability, capacity, okay, exposure, prevention, mitigation, preparedness, response, recovery, and then reconstruction and resilience. So these are all some of the important basic concepts related to disaster risk management, which you have seen. So I request the participants, if you're having any questions or any thoughts, also you can share. Otherwise, I will be asking a question to the participants and you have to answer me.
Participants, you can ask your questions by typing the message in the chat box.
There is a question from Ajay Patnakar. Warnings on radio or response or prevention. Okay, like cyclone warnings are given in the radio. It is a response in order to save the life. Okay, it's not prevention. Just by giving the early warning, we cannot prevent the risk. Anyhow, the cyclone is going to landfall. Okay, so it's not a prevention. So giving the warning through radio is a response. Any other questions? And similarly, sometime what to say, before the earthquake, when the earthquake occurs, there is a tremors. Okay, the siren sound is coming. That is also a warning. Okay, that is also a response in order to save the life. So whatever the activities which you are taking in order to save the life, it is a response. Okay, like a prevention, the activity, if it is going to completely remove the risk, then it is a prevention. So giving a warning alone is not going to remove the risk. So it is just only a response. Any other question from the participant side? You are welcome to type in the chat box. Again, Ajay Patnakar has raised the question, how can we prepare for flood? Okay, the preparedness, whatever the activities or the trainings were being conducted by the departments, it's all preparedness. So as a part of flood preparedness, what you have to do, first of all, you should know the do's and don'ts during COVID-19. Of course, if there is a flood, means there is a heavy rain also. So you should not touch electric poles, and you should not go out of the home, and you should stay in the safer place, like where there is a higher place, or if there is any three-star or four-star buildings, you have to save yourself, stay from there, and keep listening to all the warnings were being given, and save enough food storage, and keep enough safe drinking water with you, and charge your mobiles and electronic items, and keep it safely. And because at the time of flood and river, like a rain, definitely there is a chance of electricity services disruption. So always keep listening to the radio, right? So these are all certain flood preparedness activity which you have to do. A thin line between the definition of recovery, rehabilitation, restoration. There is a difference between the recovery, rehabilitation, and reconstruction. Recovery is a short-term activity, providing the basic facilities like road services, electrical services. Okay, recovery is a short-term activity and to provide the basic services, electricity, road, transport, communication. Rehabilitation is like providing certain livelihood activities, to the people. If the people have lost their income, people have lost their assets, or for example during Nivar cyclone, the people have lost their paddy field, and people have lost their banana and some coconut trees also. So helping them with their livelihood activities is a rehabilitation. And reconstruction and the restoration is both are same, and it's a long-term activity which is build back better, okay, ensuring all the aspects, and it's a long-term activity. So reconstruction and this this reconstruction restoration is a long-term. Okay, hope you got to understand the difference between all these three terms. Again, there is one question from Chawla. He raised how to sensitize young children for the same. We only go for mock drills. It depends the types of disaster. Like if it is a earthquake, then mock drill is the best way to prepare them and to sensitize them. Okay, and generally for all types of disaster, we should educate our child with what are the do's and don'ts during COVID, do's and don'ts for each type of disaster. If it is a COVID-19, and there is a very good material available in the NDMA website, and also in the UNICEF also has prepared how to talk to your child about COVID-19. Okay, hope you got the answer. And again from Nagarajan, educating students in first aid, swimming, DRR misses, to be done by the educational institution. Of course, you are right. And flood relief methods are used to reduce the effects of flood water high or low water levels. There is a question in Aluma. Flood relief methods are used to reduce the effects of flood water high or low water levels. Flood relief methods are used to reduce the effects of flood water high or low level. Yeah, of course, these relief methods are used to reduce the flood effects. After flood, many times after the heavy rain or the cyclone, there is a chance of heavy rain. So there is a chance of again flood to occur. So the relief methods were being used is actually these flood relief methods are used to reduce. This question is not clear, so requesting you to make it a little bit clear.
Government and National Disaster Management Authority already developed a guideline related to flood disaster management, and in which he also gave a guideline regarding to relief method. तो एक जो गाइडलाइन है मिनिस्ट्री का एनडीएमए का उसमें सारे दिए गए हैं कि किस तरह से क्या मेथड अपनाना है रिलीफ का। अगर मान लें कि दो लॉन्ग टर्म रिकवरी के लिए अलग होना है और जो शॉर्ट टर्म रिकवरी जो है जो फर्स्ट स्टेज जो होता है किसी भी डिजास्टर का उसमें रिलीफ की जरूरत पड़ती है, तो उस रिलीफ में क्या क्या कितने देने हैं, क्या क्या नॉर्म्स होना चाहिए। क्योंकि मैं भी जब डिजास्टर 2008 कोसी फ्लड में जब मैं डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्रोजेक्ट ऑफिसर काम कर रहा था, तो ये इश्यूज आए थे कि किसको मिलना चाहिए, कितना डैमेज हुआ है, डिपेंड ऑन डैमेज कितना हुआ है उसके आधार पर रिलीफ वहाँ दिया जा रहा था कि कैसे कौन सा मकान है जो पक्का पार्शियली डैमेज हुआ है, कौन सा फुल्ली डैमेज हुआ है, किस एरिया में ज्यादा इफेक्ट फ्लड का इफेक्ट है, किसमें कम। ये सारे इंडिकेटर को देखते हुए उसके हिसाब से जो गवर्नमेंट के जो गाइडलाइन आए थे, जो इसके जो नॉर्म्स बने हुए हैं उसके अनुसार रिलीफ डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में हम लोगों ने वहाँ पे दिया था। तो ये जो गाइडलाइन जो मिनिस्ट्री के और एनडीएमए के जो गाइडलाइन है उसमें पूरी तरह से दिया हुआ है कि किसको कितना चावल मिलना चाहिए, कितना क्या क्या रिलीफ में मेजर में क्या क्या सामानें होनी चाहिए, किस तरह के सुविधाएं मिलनी चाहिए, वो सारे उसमें दिए गए हैं। और कंपनसेशन के लिए अलग से है कि कितना कंपनसेशन किनको जो उनको जो क्षति हुआ है, जो इकोनॉमिकल क्षति हुआ है कितना हुआ है, उसको भी ध्यान में रखा गया है। तो ये सारे जो नॉर्म्स जो है वहाँ पे वो गाइडलाइन में दिए गए हैं रिलीफ से रिलेटेड।
Thank you, Mr. Ranjan, for adding the valuable points here. With this, due to time constraint, I'm handing over to Dr. Jayan, please.
Okay. Dr. Balu, thank you very much for the wonderful session in which many participants have commented that it was a wonderful session. All basic concepts related to DRR have been explained. Even the participants who joined us on YouTube, they have commented very good for this. Bimal Nayak, Madhvi, and some other, I would not name everyone, but since there were no questions from the YouTube viewers, we have not taken their question because there was no question. However, they have commented very nicely about the lecture. Thank you very much, Balu sir. And now we are at the end of the today's complete session, today's training day. Before I propose the vote of thanks, formal vote of thanks, let me display the second attendance code. Here it is. This is the second attendance code. First attendance code was 68 and now it is 51. Now these codes you have to keep in your record. Day 1, code number 1, 68, code number 2, 51. You have to keep that record. When on the third day, we will give you the feedback form. Therein, you will have the questions. All the viewers, please listen. You will have the questions that what was the first day attendance code. You will have to then click on the correct code. Only then the certificates will be issued to the participants. Now, to give you the information to all the participants that we have a large number of audience there on the YouTube and also on this Zoom. We have registered around 1200 participants there on the Telegram, and the viewers, the number of viewers we will be able to get soon. Now, in today's session, we have the inaugural by H.R. Bakhru sir, President Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti. Then Major General Manoj Kumar Bindal sir was not able to join us, but he has sent us the well wishes. Then Dr. Vinky Rughwani sir, Chairman Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti. Dr. I.P. Keswani sir, General Secretary Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti. Professor Santosh Kumar, Professor and Head CCDRR NIDM. Dr. Santosh Kasbekar sir, Principal Dada Ramchand Bakhru Sindhu Mahavidyalaya. Dr. Kumar Rakha, Shri Ranjan Kumar, Shri Naveen Agrawal, Shri Santosh Kumar sir, Dr. Balu and Shri Ranjan sir. All have participated in this training program and guided the viewers, the participants on the disaster management. Basically, the focus was there on the children, how they can avoid the risk, how the risk can be reduced. I thank on behalf of Dada Ramchand Bakhru Sindhu Mahavidyalaya Nagpur and NIDM, all the speakers and the participants who have joined us. Thank you very much. We will have the second day training program tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Please join us. Till then, thank you. Have a nice time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Ranjan sir, Balu sir, thank you.
Thank you.